What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Game Time Discussions. I'm Emery Cuzzy. I'm sitting with Cameron Selby. We're going to continue our live streams over the Best Ball Mania. We're going to hit some more Best Ball Mania today. We reloaded, deposited some funds into our account, so we had some more money so that we could do that. It's getting close. We're about to get preseasons tomorrow. The true start of preseasons tomorrow, and then 3 weeks of preseason, and then we're right there. I guess it's less than a month now because on September 5th is when the first game is between Baltimore and Kansas City. So we're almost there, guys. Getting exciting.
Yeah, it is. This is truly, there's a lot to kind of go over. There's been a ton of movement throughout the ADPs and draft order and whatnot. Obviously, the elephant in the room. I wish that we had more clarity because we were supposed to shoot a video prior to this on Brandon Ayuk and what's going on. The problem is nothing's been resolved. It's Pittsburgh's out, then Pittsburgh's back in.
New England's
Cleveland's in all of a sudden. Oh no, they're not. And then Washington, no, they're not. Well, and there's just no clarity really at all. The only kind of more certainty that we have is we thought Brandon Ayuk.
Sorry, I always do that.
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry.
Brandon Ayuk, essentially, we had a vibe that he would be at least staying through this season, and but not really targeting him much based on his ADP because he was in the late teens,
Right.
in the mid-second round. But at the same time, now that we're kind of more okay, he's not going to be here. Now we can kind of rise Debo up a little bit in our rankings, George Kittle up a little bit in our rankings. That's kind of the big takeaway we have right now. But then obviously there's like an Amari Cooper speculation if he were to be involved, or Kendrick Bourne coming back to San Fran and what that would mean. It's not as big of an impact on fantasy, but that's worth noting. Our boy Chase Brown, we had a vibe of taking a lot of him so far. He is getting most of the one reps, and he is the biggest riser. He has jumped into the top 100. We're going to be targeting him in the 90s in the 8th round today, and we might not even get him because I've seen a ton of action on him in the 7th round as well at this point, or early 8th even. So, and then a couple other guys, Michael Wilson, who we have a ton of, is nearly the top 150 now.
Right.
There's some injuries that have taken place. Josh Downs, high ankle sprain, so he'll be out a while. Basically, San Francisco, their entire running back room was down. They had to assign 2 kind of practice squad running backs to fill time, but Christian McCaffrey is done for the preseason. He wasn't going to play much to begin with, but he's going to miss practice as well. So that's concerning. We took a stand on him when we had the first pick, not taking much at all of him. Kind of has worked out so far. But then also Isaac Guerrero, which we thought could be serviceable. He hasn't really practiced much at all. Eli Mitchell goes down.
Jordan Mason is it.
Yeah.
That's all that is in town right now. And we've seen in the past where they go to backups. Elijah Mitchell is a backup that they've gone to in the past and has been productive, but it's not necessarily the most comfortable thing to do when you are banking on Christian McCaffrey's upside.
Yeah, I guess one of the biggest injury news that has happened, I think the DeAndre Hopkins one happened before our stream last week, or right as it happened. Either way, we haven't taken a ton of him, but a decent 8 to 10% as a wide receiver 4, and he's going to be out for at least 2 games probably. Jonathan Brooks, we expected to miss a couple games, so we're not really. That's nothing new,
right?
And then also Rondale Moore was a guy that we took some shares of as a 20th round flyer. He got air casted today, so some kind of severe injury that is probably going to hamper his potential to even have any kind of role in that offense. So that was the guy who I was going to tell. We were talking about who do we want to target that we have like no shares of. Well, Ray McLeod, who he was battling with, who had the kind of lean or edge on him for the wide receiver 3 role. He's going in like the 300, so undrafted.
Right.
And now, not many people are going to be like, oh, Ray. Whoop.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just going to be like, oh, okay. But if we have Atlanta kind of stacks or want to get some pieces of them and who they're playing,
He could
In
be
week
a guy.
17, that could be a late round flyer.
Yeah, for sure. I also don't think that this affects anybody else on the team, unfortunately. Like, it doesn't make any of the other guys look better just because Rondale's not there. It's like
Right.
Kyle Pitts is still Kyle Pitts, Drake London's still Drake London, Bijan is still Bijan.
Yeah,
Like, that doesn't
and
change
again,
anything.
I made a comment before that when we were trying to separate, Darnell Mooney, who started out around the late 130s, early 140s, and then Rondell Moore was in the 220s as like the 20th round pick, and I was just like, I think the gap's much closer.
Right.
Well, obviously Rondell Moore didn't make the most of his time prior to going down with an injury, but Darnell Mooney hasn't been doing well at camp either. He's just the default number two. So, or number four rather, because I mean, I'm going to include Kyle Pitts and Bijan that could legitimately have more targets than
Right.
him.
For sure.
But in terms of receivers being the default number two, yeah. So, and then with Rondell, it sucks, it is what it is. But he was a 20th round flyer. You're not going to get bad at
Yeah.
1,000 on those kinds of guys. And a lot of the ownership was early on because we haven't really taken a ton of him of late in recent weeks. So
Yeah. And then Dustin did say on a college note, feel bad for CJ Baxter. Yeah, Cam
yeah,
told me that earlier when I got
yeah.
here.
So for Texas fans, CJ Baxter, who was a 5-star recruit, number one running back, he was going to be the workhorse for Texas this year with Jonathan Brooks leaving school, and he goes down with the LCL and PCL injury, so he is out for the season already. So they're going to have to rely on Jaden Blue, who is not bad, not spectacular, and then also Jared Gibson, who was a really high end recruit, built in a lab.
Yeah.
So I don't. He has the body to contribute early, but you just never can tell with true freshmen.
Right. For sure.
But Texas has always had a pretty good running back room. But yeah, that is definitely one of the bigger blows from like kind of championship contenders in the college football realm.
Yep. And so got 6 people watching. I'm gonna turn the stream onto it so that we can see it. Taylor's sad. Understandable. And we will win. We're gonna do the $3 to start. We'll talk
We have a
about
ticket. Nice.
we do. I don't know what for.
I guess we did a
Fantasy football millionaire. Nice.
So, but so we're gonna do it a little differently because last week, the last draft, we were like 1, 2, 3, go, and the 3 or 4 people that wanted to get in, nobody got in with us.
Right.
So instead, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at the clock and be like, hey, as soon as it turns, that is when you enter.
Yeah.
So essentially, right now we're gonna target 7:10. So once it goes in 100 seconds, once it hits that 12, then click enter if you want to play. We're about a 5 play. That's why it's kind of hard to be say ready, set, go. So one in the first one. Obviously, we're gonna do 2 tonight. But hopefully that'll work.
Yeah, we're out of the 1 million play action, so we're gonna do the 200,000 play action.
200,000.
Yeah, don't play the 1 million if you want to be in here with us. Get in the 200,000. That's the one that we're gonna be able to do. We'll talk about some of these injuries. We see Puka Nakua on the board.
Yes, that's another one. So he went down and he's kind of week to week. Nothing significant to where he could miss week 1 or anything. But essentially he was right there with AJ Brown and Garrett Wilson in terms of our rankings. And we were like, the immediate reaction is he goes behind them. It's just whether or not we would take him before Marvin Harrison. And that's exactly what's happened in terms of ADP. He is right sandwiched at the very end of the first round. I've done, several drafts because of these news just to see how people are reacting and who's going up and who's going down. And I haven't seen him drop below 14, and people are still drafting him in the first round. So I don't think there's too much. And then on the other end of the spectrum, Kyron was already risen into the second round anyways. And then Cooper Kupp, I haven't seen him go before 20.
Right.
Whereas like, if you want to look at the Brandon Ayuk news, I was telling them, Deebo Samuel, I've seen more than 1 or 2 occasions where somebody takes him with the 13th or 14th pick at the 1-2 turn, which if Ayuk is out and Amari does not come back to San Francisco, that is where he's going to go on our rankings. He's going to go above Marvin Harrison. And then we're going to have a debate on, where he falls between Puka, Wilson, and Brown, but that's where he's going to go. And that's where his ADP is going to go and rise as well. So that's the one biggest mover in terms of the first 2 rounds. Yeah,
I think too, we talked about, I mean, all the situations are different. If Ayuk comes back and is healthy, Debo's not going to go obviously that high. He's going to be exactly where he's been this whole time. Ayuk's going to be pretty much where he's been the whole time. But with the Puka news, we don't know if he's going to, and we don't expect him to miss week one. Like, as reports show that he'll be playing week one. We did have a similar situation last year where Cooper Cup was dealing with a hampering injury on the same exact team, and Puka is the one that took over. I think that narrative is pretty interesting if you want to write something of being like, okay, it's Cooper Cup's turn to like go back to dominance. But yeah, we're let's see. What time is it?
Yeah, I went on a tangent. So 7:10 is not our start time. So
7:12
we'll
is going to be our
7:12
start.
once it hits. That's where we're gonna hit
Yep.
enter and get going with our first draft.
No matter what, if Cam's tangenting, we're still doing it at 7:12, and I'm gonna hit the button, and you'll see it on the screen. So, hopefully that comes pretty soon here. I don't know exactly. I wasn't paying attention, so I have to watch it. But got 5 people in here, 7 likes. Wow, y'all are that's 140%, guys. I'm proud
Let's
of
go.
y'all. That's awesome. I don't know how y'all did that. Did you? Let's see. Yes, y'all should discuss that off of chat. Please do not start the Aggie versus Longhorn discussion in the chat. It could get real bloody.
I'm so excited for that rivalry to return, though.
I know that is exciting. I'm not a fan of either team, so
And
it
we
just
were
is good
actually
football.
going through like win-loss records for a couple teams, and I was just like, wow, the Aggies don't really have that.
We're
They
going.
call out breaks, and so it's like they could very well only be
Ooh.
a 2-loss or less team on that final week against Texan. If that's for like a playoff berth, that's going to be even more exciting to
Right,
kind
for
of
sure.
rekindle the rivalry.
Now we're betting 160%. That's crazy,
Let's
guys. I
go.
don't know how y'all are doing that. Do I need to leave and come back and just see if there's more people watching? Nope, there's less now all of a sudden.
It's all
I'm not
good.
sure what I did there.
All right, Dusty. So Dusty's in. Who else is joining? I saw Nick is here. Were you able to get in as well? There's 11 out of 12. I hope you're one of them.
Oh, now we're full. CD is
Let's see.
out. Oh no, I don't know what happened.
That's just because they,
yeah.
you know,
Are we still drafting him? That's a real question, actually, because like he could hold out into the season like JT did last year, which would be very
all
interesting.
right. So we're right in the middle
Yeah,
today.
that's cool.
Dusty's right behind us.
All right. Well, we know we have to. No, we can't work together, Dustin, but we will. Hey, Bailey.
Hey, Bailey. There
Good
he is.
Happy to see you, man.
Happy birthday, Eve.
Yeah,
Mr.
right.
Gerard.
Yeah, Bailey turns 14 on Friday. Very excited.
Taking him to get a couple of juice boxes.
Yep.
But yeah, so that is an interesting question because obviously the Christian McCaffrey, he's down and out at least in the preseason, and we were already avoiding him for the most part, anyways. We've actually taken less of Tyreek Hill than we have of Christian, so we're kind of taking stands with both. But if we get the first pick again, and we already have a ton of CD Lamb, do we just continue to take CD Lamb? Do we get weird and go Chase or Hill or Amon-Ra, or just that's kind of something we'll have to talk about once we get there.
We hope we get the three or four spot and they get into this conversation in their podcast and he falls to us.
Yeah.
That's basically what I want.
But I mean, like I said, if we're the 101, we can't trade or we can't change. So we got to take somebody. So it would be interesting. I'd probably lean to continue taking CD.
Yeah, I think I'm with that.
Because I'd rather just bet on a holdout than a possible injury curse or history. But like I said, I did a tweet about the Madden curse, which that used to be the thing when we were growing up and in our teens and whatnot. And then that's kind of faded off of late. But the number one pick curse has been a real thing in drafts, like Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson last year. Several before Christian McCaffrey twice recently. That was the 101, 4 or 5 years ago, and going down with the missing 6 games or what have you. I think going back all the way to Arian Foster in 2012, like there was only 2 guys that finished in the top 10 at their respective positions as the 101, which is awful because if you are the RB10 and you were the first pick in the draft, you did not pan out.
Right. CMC goes off the board first, so that guy is not worried one bit. Killen Bill's up. He is not sure what to do. He might be on auto. And then, yeah, auto. So probably going CD. Okay. So normal.
I'm assuming this is going to be a Bijan or a Amon-Ra
We're
pick.
We're gonna hope for
or Chase. I mean, we're gonna get one of the three. So I've been saying earlier that we've gotten so much chase. I've actually somehow gotten 20%, which you never see as a first round pick.
I have
Uh,
19.
and it's just like, how does that happen? But it's like the other day I had the sixth pick, and I was like, okay, well, this is perfect. I want more Bijan now, or I want ARSB, and then Chase falls to six, and it's like, well, I mean, Brees Hall goes five there, so Dusty's going to be very happy with whoever um, he picks,
Yeah, right.
or we don't pick. Do
So
you want to go on Monra or do you want a Bijan build?
I'm on Raw.
Okay,
Let's get
perfectly
some
fine
on
by
Raw.
me. He's one of the safest wide receivers, especially in PPR leagues.
Oh yeah, and then Dustin gets to pick whoever he wants,
He's
basically.
gonna
JJ if he wants to. Bijan, he could do something crazy. Truly, I think we know Dustin wants Marvin Harrison to fall to him in the second round because he is an Arizona fan. We now at this point, I can tell you what he wants to do because we are behind him. We
There you
cannot
go.
mess that all up.
One of my favorite like 1-2 builds that's very rare because it has to fall to you like this. It can't just organically consistently happen. But Bijan and then Marvin Harrison falling to you at the 17th or 18th pick.
Right.
I really, as a fan, love that because I love both players. And I think even as a fantasy, from a fantasy perspective, both of them have the upside to warrant those selections.
Right.
But frustratingly, it always falls one pick short, one way or the other. Whether it's Marvin Harrison falling mid second, but Bijan was picked a pick before, or Marvin Harrison fell one pick prior. But Dusty, if that is your start, I would give you a plus plus.
JJ just fell to the number 10
Yeah,
spot. That's pretty
that's the
cool.
lowest I've seen him.
Never seen that.
Saquon at the
Saquon in the
11.
first round. All right. Here. Are he here? He here? No, I actually think this is going to be a fun draft based on how people are drafting because, of course, we have Dustin next to us, but the guy before us goes Brees Hall. That's abnormal. And then the next 4 after Justin Jefferson's not abnormal, but all the other guys are a little abnormal. So this should be a little fun. Puka does go at the 13.
But again, a lot of builds you can see, Gibbs falling to 14 and Puka was at 11 anyways. So that's not that uncommon of a build. Saquon and Jonathan Taylor, for those that are on the 1-2, the 11-12 spot, we've seen this kind of combo before if you went to running backs.
That's early.
But yeah, Steiger, to answer your question, we will be doing one more after this, and hopefully we will have a really fun,
Dustin.
big old party in the draft. So
yep. Dang it, Dustin. I'm sorry. Let's see though. You still have some good receivers there. Kyron did go early, and
that's
all
probably who he was gonna.
Golly.
Well, actually, I don't know if he would have gone two running backs, but
see what he does.
It's so awkward, this range.
Oh yeah,
it has not changed, and it only makes it worse when guys like Derrick Henry comes into the top 24 and Jalen Waddle and.
What do you want to do?
I don't know.
Nico's probably the safest guy here.
We did say we wanted more Debo.
Yeah.
And again, we've seen him. We know that he's going to rise much further than that if we're anticipating that Brandon Ayuk's gone.
That's fine with me.
So, and on top of that,
they're playing
the best thing, week 17
they're playing
correlation.
Week 17. I love it. Yep.
So,
yep. Always got to correlate week 17 if you try to remember to, Emery. So
sometimes it just organically happens like that, though.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Detroit and San Fran is the very last game to decide who wins the million or the first prize in whatever best ball league you do, and that's the perfect game to kind of target in our eyes.
Yep, and now we have hopefully the best 2 players in it. That's the plan, at least.
Sounds good to me.
Quarterback wise, though, we're looking at Goff and Purdy right now, so. Maybe trying to find some guys in later rounds to help us with better quarterbacks options and stuff.
Stags asks, no Devontae. Second straight week, it is 2 A's, not 1 O.
This guy, he did that on purpose. I know he did.
Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But we've actually gotten a ton of Devontae. He's been our by default second round receiver. And again, we were talking before we came off the air, and on the air rather. And Debo, we said, was the only fast riser. And once Ayuk is moved, which we are kind of leaning towards now, he is going to go up to the 1-2 turn. So right now, he pretended that Ayuk was already gone. Like, so that's kind of, and on top of that, we don't have much shares of him, at least in our GTD account. I've started to take a little bit of him before the Ayuk news just because of the correlation. We like a lot of Detroit players.
Right.
So getting at the 2-3 turn was something that I started to have some shares of. So that's kind of the reason we went Debo over Devontae or even Nico, which we've liked in Houston stacks as well.
I got so much Travis was at the end and the beginning of the 4th round, and now he's just going 3-2 so consistently. It's just mind-boggling to me.
Right. And then also another sound serious at all, but Sam Laporta hasn't practiced this week. Hamstring tightness. I don't know if that's why he's fallen into the late 3rd, early 4th. But if he does, yay for us.
Right.
But there is one guy in particular that I would love if he fell right now, and I am really to hammer.
And he's gone.
He is gone.
Now I don't know what to do because
Well,
I'm really not sure what this range is.
It's kind of depends on if you want to go 3 receivers or if you want to take a running back. Because if it's 3 receivers, it's probably somebody like DK or
DJ.
Or
we need to
we
decide.
Can go Pacheco.
I guess Pacheco. Oh, it's gross though.
It's gross.
Okay.
But we'll just kind of see what happens.
Really wish Devontae
running backs
Smith
are really jumping
there.
up the board. Basically, all the redrafters that just getting into best ball again, pushing all these guys up. Like look at how many running backs went in the first 15 picks.
Yeah, I can't believe the Kyron went that
3,
high.
5, 8 people in the first 1.5 rounds. Is that more than receivers? 1, 2, 3, 4. The same exact amount. So it used to be just hammering receivers, and then the next tier of running backs was at the end of the second. Now it's just kind of scattered them a little bit.
Well, like we talk about, like when normal drafters that don't play best ball that often, like we've been playing since the beginning of June, normal drafters start in August, and those guys push up running backs because in leagues, running backs are pushed up. Pacheco's at 22 or something like that on ESPN. That's interesting. They're going for it.
I'm not opposed to doing a Saquon Taylor build, I guess, but I think that there's better players that you could go robust with.
Fair enough.
With Kamara in the 5th or Joe Mixon or Kenneth Walker, we talked about winning more shares of.
Kincaid.
They really wanted that stack.
And they couldn't have got it, so they went for it. Because they did have the next pick would have been the 5-12.
That's fine. He's our most exposed tight end going in the first, 7 rounds.
Oh, yeah.
We have a ton of him, so it's never the worst thing when he doesn't fall to us.
Yeah, Pacheco is considered the workhorse, and so he's going to get the touches. We moved him up in our overall rankings. He's at 37th now.
4-3 for Sean White.
That's really high. Wow.
I know.
I'm way more comfortable with Pacheco, to say the least. I'm glad we got him.
So I actually kind of have a feeling I know where this kind of build is. Not this pick in particular. Malik Neighbors is still there.
I have no shares.
Have no shares.
I am not against it. I'm also not against Brandon Ayuk.
In the 4th?
Because
I would, but the thing is, we talked about him. We would have him below Flowers wherever he goes.
That's true.
So I would probably say between Neighbors and Flowers.
So I'm going to get one share of Malik Neighbors because of the highlights. And we're just going to pray that he gets 5, 6. So he gets 6 touchdowns because that's the real problem.
I want a quick tangent.
Go for it.
We do auction our, big leagues with our friend league because it's the best way to draft. If you haven't, we'll be doing a lot of content next summer, introducing and whatnot. But essentially in these drafts because he's going the 3rd round. If it weren't for Marvin Harrison Jr., this is the highest a rookie receiver would have ever been drafted.
In a bad offense.
And it's in the worst offense. It's awful. And we just don't see a ton of touchdown upside, which warrants being a wide receiver 1.
Right.
Regardless, I was doing a mock draft for an auction on Yahoo today. Guess what his auction value is right now? It's $8.
That's a steal.
So
okay,
that's just kind of one of the examples of somebody we're completely avoiding on every single platform in redraft, but then in auction,
right?
That's like wide receiver 3-4 money
That's crazy cheap.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like
So
I'm not again. We loved Malik Neighbors. I love Malik Neighbors doing the scouting. He's a great football player.
Rasheed Rice at the 411.
That's nuts. He's a great
yeah.
football player, but at the same time, you have to take out the fact that he's good at football and he's making these great catches. Like
So
it's more so the fact that we need him to score the touchdowns. He's gonna have 80, 90 catches this year,
right.
but
It's just like 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that's wide receiver, low end wide receiver too. But yeah, so like the difference between him and Marvin Harrison Jr. in talent is very close. But in, you know, drafts right now, second round for one, third round for the other. But in Yahoo, it's a $35 difference between the two. And so it's just like, all right, you have my attention now. But I just wanted to throw that out there because that talking with Nick before we left for work, and his jaw just dropped. It was like, how is he that cheap?
Yeah,
it's like
he won't be. He won't be.
You would think so.
He should go up as
I
we
think
do
unless
these.
he is nominated early, I think he'll be just kind of forgotten about. And once people run out of money, they run out of money.
This is normally where we go tight end.
Yep.
And it's the last tight end for a while.
Now, I was thinking, if we're doing the Brandon Ayuk fade, George Kittle in the next round, the 6th, because he hasn't really risen.
That's fine. What do you want to go otherwise?
Shoot, George Pickens as a wide receiver 4 is not bad.
No, and then Keenan was my other thought.
Keenan we have a ton of Keenan though.
Okay, for George Pickens is fine. That's fine. Yeah, it auto, but like that was a fine pick.
The only thing that makes me nervous is if Ayuk eventually goes there, then George, I don't love either one.
No,
at that point, especially at their ADPs, and I would anticipate Ayuk probably staying around the same because there are some that are going to convince you that you need to take him in the late 2nd. But then George Pickens, who's going, mid 4th, we actually got him in the 5th. That's the lowest I've seen him go in a while. But that's where his ADP is probably going to drop to, and maybe even later than that.
If Ayuk goes there, I think he should be in the 60. No, he should probably be in the 70s because of the fact that it's.
Let's talk about what Dusty did.
Very
fun. So again, we don't love Tank Dell at all.
Nope.
But if you are a part of a stack, he is the second option. Home run. I'm proud of it. So he ends up going Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, and then CJ Stroud. Beautiful way to go.
Has the hero RB with Bijan. It's a great team.
Yeah, the one thing I'll let you know is their week 17 matchup, if you wanted to do on the back turn, is Baltimore. The only thing is, that's also a week 14 bye. So somebody like if you wanted a 3 tight end build, Isaiah Likely is interesting. Rashad Bateman is okay. Or you can there's not a ton of options, honestly, with Baltimore at this point in the draft, but that's just for food for thought once you're looking at late round picks.
Dustin, also just remember to think about the fact that you have all those week 14 buys. So you probably want to kind of stay away from them going forward from here on. Just for like a little bit of thought. I think I know who I want. We've been talking about him today.
So we're not going the Kittle route?
Let's just say he's not a runner. Okay.
All right.
And yes, Brandon, that is solid idea. If anybody plays auction drafting, nominating players that other people want isn't a bad idea because then it makes them have to pay more because people will push up their prices.
Kyler Murray goes early.
Yeah.
But
damn it. Yeah, we'll just do the other.
See what Dusty does.
Oh, Keenan's
still there.
Why is Keenan there?
I don't know, but Dustin I have a certain friend that should probably click him.
Because Dustin hasn't clicked it yet. That's why. Oh, Dusty. Are you off? You're going to auto draft him, which is cool. You pick George Kittle.
Oh,
I can't with
piece
him.
Of crap. No, that's fine.
We'll just say Keenan.
Either Keenan or Kyle Pitts.
No, I think it's Keenan.
Because this will be wide receiver 5, which we're going to wait a long time.
Yeah, then we'll be done, basically. Then we'll just attack the other positions.
The only thing is we just won't get a elite quarterback or tight end.
It'll be okay.
Which we've at least gotten one or the other in most drafts. So
now we have to put it together. Now we have to be.
No, Dusty, that does make sense. If you were going to go tight end, going George Kittle instead of Kyle Pitts, because that's a weird double of going Bijan and Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, that's fair.
totally understand that logic behind it. We just hate you.
Yeah,
No,
at
I'm
the
just kidding.
moment, during the 6th round of this draft, I'm
You
not
had to.
happy with you.
You sniped us so many times.
Yeah, well, actually said his name on this.
But
Now
yeah, so
Evan Ingram goes.
Keenan fell a little bit. So like I said, we're good. We're
We have
great on receiver. We could
we
probably go with
have
6
so much
receivers.
value
We
at
have
receiver.
we could probably go 6 receivers in this build.
Look at
Just take
this.
one more.
Look at this value though.
hmm
I mean, Amon Ra, a pick late. Okay, whatever. Debo's a little early, but then Neighbors, Pickens, and Keenan all way later than expected.
But yeah, and then also going 6 to 7 receivers with this type of build that opens the door to maybe go 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends, which is
Yeah.
maybe what we need to do unless we get some breaks to go our way.
He said he knew this would happen. He felt it. I mean, there is a guy that I'm not going to say now that we could pair with one of our receivers that we've been
Well, if the
talking
7th
about.
pick, we don't have to worry about it with Dusty.
Oh yeah,
He's like, write that down. Write that down.
yeah. I'm not telling him. Christian Watson. Too bad we don't need him.
We don't need a receiver.
He's just look at him. It's just.
I mean, at that point, we would just kind of sabotage for Dusty if we're just gonna.
Yeah, we're here for Dustin's wins. Shame. How could you? Nah, it's the right choice for sure.
We do have 3 different, or actually 4 different quarterbacks. I'm interested in building around if we're doing a 3 quarterback build.
Yeah, lots of options.
So there are options and we don't even have to worry about taking any of them right now. The only quarterback really that's still on the board that's interesting is Dak, but we're not going to get Jake Ferguson on the turn. So I don't know if it's really worth going that route.
Well, okay, auto drafted. Yeah, Keon. Okay. Haven't seen a ton of buzz out of Buffalo's camp on who's the first guy.
Yeah, I mean, really, other than apparently, Curtis Samuel is just lining up all over the place. We've
This
kind
is
of
not pretty. I'd much could go Dak and then try to get Jake Ferg, but I just don't see it happening.
I would probably prefer to just get Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
And then because we know a couple of other quarterbacks we like, if we don't take Jake now, then
we're just
maybe somebody that we can't name is going to be our tight end 1. And, even if we love him, we'd much rather have him as a tight end 2 than a tight end 1.
Yeah. I mean, Cam says that we actually have him higher than Jake Ferguson. He's talking about Brock Bowers, which is fine. We at the same time, that whole idea is just because we're not going to be able to get Jake Ferguson where you can get Brock Bowers much later. Dustin doesn't need a tight end, so we talk about it, and hopefully no one else is in here that didn't tell us. Actually, almost everybody is a tight end. 3.
Yeah, I mean, most kind of went early. I mean, Evan Ingram went the 6th round. Njoku's in the middle of the 7th, and then obviously you saw Kelsey go in the 2nd, and Laporta, like I said, I've started to see some of the early 4th round, and he went late 3rd.
Right. Yes, Steiger, we do. I love Curtis Samuel as a player. Cam loves Curtis Samuel as a player, and we are hoping he's the guy. But he's been lining up in the backfield. Oh, there goes the guy we had
one
unnamed.
guy that didn't have a tight end. It's fine. But the one thing with that I don't really get with Buffalo is the amount of traction of people trying to put Khalil Shakir over Curtis Samuel.
Right.
Because as a talent, it's not even close. But also schematically, they're moving Curtis Samuel all around. There's not a ton of buzz on Shakir, yet people are still beating that drum to take him as a wide receiver 5 or 6 and double stack, which again, kind of similar to Tank Dell. If you're going to get Josh Allen, and obviously most occasions you can't take Kincaid unless you really reach on him, then you're going to have to settle with getting a Keon and a Samuel, or if you can't get Keon, then Curtis and Shakir later. And then after that, it's really nothing.
Right. Hey, Nick, we're happy you're here to hang out with us. Got 11 in the chat right now. That's awesome. 11 likes. Y'all are 100%.
Let's go.
That's amazing.
Batting 1,000.
There's a, JSN goes. He's moving up a little bit. Finally. Even still moving up. I mean, he was moving up. We said that last week, but now he's catching more traction. Because people are actually seeing him as the number 2 in that offense.
I was watching BDGE was going through his top 10 most exposed, and obviously he's on underdog, so it's way different, right?
Zach Moss.
Yep, that's stupid.
Okay.
But again, if we want
Dustin,
to,
please don't. Please don't do it. I think you. No, you won't do it. You already have it. You already have one. Let's just be happy. Let's all be happy
that's not
together.
even what I was thinking.
Let's
But
just be
yeah,
happy together, Dustin. Don't hate me. I don't know what Dustin's gonna do. Xavier Worthy's actually at a point where I think he's a pretty good
really,
value.
where did he go?
Jameson. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So high five to us.
Okay.
Because you know
Cool.
I had no inclination that that would happen.
Yeah.
But that's very cool that it did. It would be even better if Devontae fell to us because we would have that other secondary stack as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Have y'all seen? Okay, so we had a draft. I don't know if y'all have gone and watched our best ball introduction video, but it was a draft about just best player overall. Take the best player overall and we don't always do that, but there is a draft in there where we had like a bunch of differentials. So it kind of looked like this draft so far. You can see that we had big value on Dak and Keenan and George Pickens and draft was, and I'm really liking our draft just because people are
that's
just falling and making it. We're loving that part.
I love how that worked out. I
That was
didn't,
awesome.
and in hindsight, it was more likely that if we went Ferguson and then more likely that Dak would fall instead
Mhm.
of the other way around. Obviously, two tight ends went right after our seventh round pick, and Ferguson would have been at least one of the two.
I wonder if this guy is stacked.
I don't think so. It would
No.
have only been
Okay.
T. Higgins, yeah.
No.
I mean, if you're talking LSU days, Justin Jefferson, but unfortunately, that's not a thing in
This
what
guy's.
we're doing.
Yeah, I wonder actually. So this guy gets a stack with Christian Watson.
Fun.
Anthony Richardson's open, which is somewhat fine because he is a running quarterback. So if you think he's going to get the touchdowns on the feet, fine. Lamar stacked. Let's see. This guy has no quarterback. Why am I looking? That guy has no quarterback. We stacked. Dustin's double stacked. So I'm talking about. No stack with Patrick Mahomes. Not sure that I love that. But when Rashee Rice goes at the 411, I don't know what to tell you.
I really do like Dusty's draft. Not a fan of Jameson Williams, but I can't acknowledge there was a huge run on receiver right before you. Like Addison, Brian Thomas, Odunze, and JSN, any one of them, I would have loved if they
Yes,
fell to you, but
absolutely.
unfortunately they didn't. And this is an awkward range. Maybe I still probably would have went Samuel or Worthy over Jameson. But I understand because you're looking for upside as a wide receiver for somebody that can go 3 for 100 and a
Damn
touchdown.
it. So sad. Okay. We kind of need to go running back here. And the guy that I wanted was the pick before us.
No, I know.
So
Again, I'm surprised he even fell that far to begin with because he's been going over Zach Moss every draft that I've seen.
what do you want to do?
I have no idea.
Javante. He's the wide running back one.
Go with Javante. Sure.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's too
He's
we
a
did
guy,
not get
again,
value on that one, guys. That was the one where
that
we
was the
missed the
first one we
value.
got to reach.
I had to, of course, say something. That's on me. My bad.
It's fine. But yeah, Javante, just kind of a recap on him. He's one that it was funny because the fantasy community was just like, oh, he's fighting for a roster spot. And then all of a sudden, day one of camp, he's taking all the reps with ones.
Yeah, I know.
So, and his
It's-
ADP hasn't really, it was in the late 90s, early 100s all summer. And then because of the roster spot news, that dropped him into the late one teens.
Right.
And then now he's just in the early one teens. And it's completely reasonable. We had to reach on him.
But look at this. Like,
look
I'm
who's
glad we
going
did
after.
because we get a run on running backs and we just happened to pick the guy we wanted. There's actually another guy that's a running back right now that I think would be good. That Dustin actually didn't pick. And I don't know if he'll go another running back after this. But yeah. Javante, yes, Steiger. We do love Javante on this channel because I remember when Javante came out and I thought he was the best running back in the class. So I'm a big Javante fan because of pride, I think, too.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big,
and we took a ton of him in the third, fourth round the following year in the best ball, and then he tore his ACL after a great start to the year. Yep. His first game, I think he had 11 targets.
He was top 10 in running backs. And so it was like, we were like, okay, this was good return on investment. And then, and so that's just how, football is, though. That's how it works.
Again, with him, he's probably has the clearest role to staying in RB1. Singletary by default is, but it's also the worst offense in football. Chubb, completely off of in the first 10
That's the
rounds.
guy.
And then Jonathan Brooks, rather, we know he's going to miss a couple games. I still am fine with investing in him, but not as an RB2 because
Right.
we obviously need more people that are going to play right now. So
Um,
that's why I would vault Javonte over all those guys.
for Dustin, though, for his team, I would think, looking at going Tyron Tracy later on would be a way for him to get
Yes,
that stack,
I would
and that
definitely
would
do
be
that.
really big for him. Let's go see
I can at least forgive you a tad bit more. I think,
that guy,
yeah, Caleb Williams is interesting.
Uh,
Tajay Spears.
Josh Palmer. These three are
So
all.
we've already gotten a ton of Josh Palmer, and because of the Justin Herbert thing, I kind of want to
That's fair
calm down a little bit
for
on
sure.
it. And plus, we don't need receiver right now.
So Tajay Spears is gone. So
yeah, it's Caleb, or we're reaching on a running back. But I think one of the guys that is remaining can still fall to us on with the next picks.
yeah, we have to take it. I'm gonna take Caleb, but
Yeah, definitely.
we need to take a tick back. I have a ton of Zeke. I think I have 37% Zeke is what we talked about. And when I say I don't mean like this is my profile, but this is the only drafts that have been done on here is 2 drafts by myself, and then the rest done on the channel.
Yeah.
So basically these are all
we haven't done one draft on that account that we have not recorded. So
all of the percentages when we show you them.
well,
What?
I guess if we wanted to correlate a little bit, we could have gone Dallas Goddard because we do need a pretty strong tight end too, unless we're going to go 3 tight ends. So Goddard as a week 17.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just
he
doesn't
okay.
make me feel great.
No,
anymore.
I think going Caleb getting. I don't think we have to go three wide receiver or sorry 3 quarterbacks now.
No, we definitely do. You know why?
I do know what you're gonna say,
Yes.
and I'll just not lay it out there.
Is what it is because you know why?
Upside
because
is crazy.
I know exactly who I want as my QB3, and so that I think it's okay. But if you guys are curious of why isn't Dak and Caleb enough, they both have week 7 buys.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have to get a third one, whether that's a flyer on Sam Darnold or if it's somebody that's a legit QB3, which somebody in mind that we have already taken a share of that we can still stack with. That is somebody that I'm targeting in a couple of rounds.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking you were going to talk about. And he has a week 9 buy?
Week 9.
Ah, damn,
one
of
2 teams.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, I was gonna say that's the smallest buy. So if I got that right, oh, there you go. Okay, now, but you did go Lad McConkey.
That is so early though.
Yeah, but stacking Gus Edwards and JK, you get the number 1, number 2, possibly number 3 running backs in the Chargers at least to start the year. We don't know what's going to happen with Kamani.
My thing is I don't really have confidence in Gus or JK to have a full-time one workload. But if I'm going to stack Charger running backs for upside purposes, I'd rather do one of them and then Kamani.
Right.
And I know Kamani, we've talked up the last couple of weeks religiously. He's one of our most exposed guys. Obviously, he's nothing is wrong. He's just a 6th round pick that's not getting runs with the ones right now.
Right.
And he's going to play a ton of preseason games. But late round rookies, you can't expect, oh yeah, he's running a ton of, goal line work or, getting a ton of touches. So we love Chase Brown, and he had nothing last year as a rookie.
So we're up, and I said we're not going to get any more Zeke. We might not get Zeke. That's pretty much between Schultz and Zeke. Which way would you like to go?
I would say it's between Zeke and Freiermuth.
Okay, well then.
So I'm gonna let you pick from there.
What is our buy? 7? Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna put him there. I don't know. 2-1. Yeah, that's okay. It honestly was a coin flip. I'm fine with either. We need to hammer running backs now, though.
Now, Ferguson was probably. I'm sorry. Freiermuth and Ferguson.
Yes.
I'm okay with that being a 2 tight end build if you want, but also like I said, Isaiah Likely is somebody that I'm really interested in. He's rising a ton. Basically, they're going to have 12 personnel a lot more with Derrick Henry in the fold, and also he's having a great camp. And also, they did nothing in their receiving core other than Des Walker. Sorry.
No, it's Tez.
It's Tez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Devontae.
I was thinking of
Devontae Walker.
Yeah. Devontae. Okay. So I wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
Anyways, so there's really no other pass catching options. And then obviously Derrick Henry is not going there to catch 5 targets or he's going to have less than 2 targets a game. So Isaiah Likely, even with Mark Andrews, I think is a serviceable tight end too, if you have an elite tight end 1. But if you're going tight end 3 build, I think it's one of the best options because he has more upside than anybody. It's not even close in that range.
If he plays, he's a top 8 tight end in my
like let me
book.
bring up his once Mark Andrews written down, which was week 11, I think.
Yeah, he went.
Let me see.
I
Let me
keep
see
doing
the
that.
exact game because again, Isaiah Likely was one of the best productive tight ends once Mark Andrews went down. Yeah, week 11. I'm so smart. Yeah, let me pull that up real quick as we are coming up on our next pick, which is a good thing we went tight end because look at everybody that went past.
Does here. Let's see.
So yeah, once
Zeke
let's do our pick and then I'll say the stats.
I'm gonna go Zeke.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Why is he here?
Once again, that worked out.
Wow.
Cowboys are just dropping for us. I
That's
love it.
fine. I'm glad this is like a Northeast draft. They hate him over here.
So yeah, with Isaiah Likely, 7-game sample size once Mark Andrews went down. He was tight end 5 overall. He had 13.9 points a game PPR wise, 5 touchdowns, which is second most. 20-yard gains, he had 5, which is pretty solid. Yards per reception was up there, and targets wise, he was actually not even among the top 10.
He basically
still was a tight end 5.
In my feelings, is he replaces all the production that you get from Mark Andrews. Like he is Mark Andrews when Mark Andrews is out. That's
15
nuts.
yards of reception as
He's
a tight end.
Such a good athlete is why. I
Mhm.
mean,
So-
that's what he came out and like that's why he doesn't get on the field as much for Baltimore is because he's not the best blocker in the world. I'm sure he's working on that part of his game, getting on the field more, but that's why he has hard times getting on the field. And when Mark Andrews goes down, it's like, well, it doesn't matter. You're going on there and you're gonna just go be really good at catching the ball. So it looks like though, we've actually seen a lot of running backs go recently, and I thought we would have a little bit more receivers going since the top half was so intense. Chuba Hubbard to Dustin. I don't think you didn't get Jonathan Brooks, so you didn't stack that. What are you looking for, Cam?
So I was going to bring up another guy that we didn't mention that went down with an injury, Noah Fant. He's going in the similar range that Isaiah Likely is as a comparison because, we're talking about upside. We're not talking about a ton of floor when you're a tight end 3. Right. So Noah Fant was a high riser. His upside is much lower. And, he went down with an injury and we got called out of we're gloating or taking a victory lap when we're saying, he was hurt. And it's not that. We're just saying, we caught a break.
Caught it, yeah.
And also, it's just I didn't know what you were seeing. We have to go running back.
I think that guy or this guy.
So,
who do you like more between? Well, let me actually keep that just in case.
Oh man,
you have
even Chandler.
11 seconds.
Man, that's tough. I guess Altier we don't have as much of.
Okay. It's gone. It's happened. It's over. To the next. But yeah.
So Noah Fant we caught a break of, right? But it's just we're talking upside as a tight end because I just rang off a bunch of a 7-week sample size where once Isaiah Likely was a guy, top 5 guy, right? Well, Noah Fant, his Will Dissly and Colby Parkinson competition's gone.
Right.
Okay. He had 1 game last year of more than 9.6 points PPR.
Well, he hasn't.
And his upside
he's never been productive is the problem.
And he had more than 5 targets one time. And a lot of this is in spite of JSN being underutilized. Now they're going to more 3 wide receiver sets, which obviously they still use a tight end. And he's by default the only tight end they have. So even when he was healthy, though, you're the 5th option in the offense, and the offense is average to begin with. Where's the upside? I'd rather have somebody that is in one of the best offenses in the NFL and could be a top 3 option instead of somebody that's going to be the 5th option at best in an average offense.
Yep.
So that was kind of our argument. And on top of that, we said the tight end position is so deep this year that we'd much rather just go a 2 tight end build and get somebody in Bowers or somebody in Njoku or somebody in Firemouth, Schultz, you name it, Goddard even.
For sure.
And I wish I could say Hawkinson, but he has a knee going on. But yeah, the it's so deep that you don't need to go 3 tight ends. Like last year when tight end 7 was like Darren Waller, and we're like, hell no.
He was in the 40s.
Yeah,
It was
he
crazy.
finally creeped up to the 40s, and we were just like, no, I'd rather
Crazy.
take a chance on somebody like Jake Ferguson, top 5 offense. There's no receivers that they added that were special. Oh yeah, he's a top 10 tight end.
Okay, so the
Yes.
Darren Waller situation and everything just is why I'm also a little nervous about this whole Malik Neighbors thing, because camp started and Darren Waller shot up because he was like, oh, this is the number 1 target. Well, I know it's different, but it's also like, okay, there's some reserve because we already don't like the offense.
Yep.
And then we watched a guy that was said to be the guy in the offense last year not be the guy. And so it's a little nerve wracking. If you had Darren Waller last year, I had 0 shares with Darren Waller last year, which is awesome. But if you had him last year, you were banking on the fact that he could return to form. And it just wasn't. I just didn't feel like it was ever realistic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go see. Wow. Hello.
There's only one person that we're taking, if he's still there.
Who?
And I think he is.
Who do you want?
Well, I'm going to because I don't know if
I'm surprised Dustin hasn't taken the Arizona player.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know why he's taking so long. This is his first possible share, and he still didn't go him. Interesting.
Okay.
That's fine. But no, it's Justin Fields.
Oh, yes.
We went double stack Pittsburgh.
Hello, beautiful.
It worked out. And again, he's kind of trending towards being the quarterback 1. And if we're not excited about it, not in this build because he's our 3rd quarterback, but if you were having him as a backup because all these guys like Baker and Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers, all these guys that were in the 160s are finally in the top 150, and you have a high end guy that is, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, and you only need 3 weeks, I'm still fine with the QB2. And if that still makes you nervous, just get both him and Russell Wilson.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Not in this build, of course, but Dustin said he has an Arizona player queued.
I know who it is.
Yeah, he made a great catch today. I saw it was a highlight from camp. That guy that he's talking about that we're going to actually probably take in the 19th round before him, 1 pick before him, just because he sniped us earlier on George Kittle. Herbert in the 14th round. Wow.
Yeah. He's a guy we've gotten a lot of shares of, not that far up, but again, he's one of the prime like trade block candidates. If there's a running back room that gets shot like San Francisco, if we knew that Christian was going to miss significant time, Dallas, I've already mentioned, if he goes to one of those spots, he is instantly a top 10 round pick.
Right.
And he has the upside for more because, 2 of his last 3 games last year, over 100 yards. And he just kind of needs somebody to not vulture touchdowns. So again, also Cincinnati. I know Chase Brown's getting all the love, but if it was Khalil Herbert instead of Zach Moss, we would be drafting all the Khalil Herbert.
Oh yeah, because Khalil Herbert's really good at football.
Proven.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's
actually
went
down
good.
with an injury.
I mean,
and that's kind of after that, he just kind of never really gained the workhorse role till the very end. And if you had him as a streamer at the very end of the season, you were very, very happy with his result.
Yeah, and then if you look at it too, though, like, did you watch the Hall of Fame game? He was good.
Oh yeah,
both him and Rashawn. And I'm like, okay, y'all really.
And it's just like this is
stop getting so excited about DeAndre Swift, all right? Because here we go. Like the good players are behind DeAndre Swift at the moment, and that's not going to stay that
Herbert's
way.
better than Jamal Williams ever was, and Jamal Williams led the league in touchdowns with DeAndre Swift on the team.
What do you want to do here?
Do you want 3 tight ends or no?
Sure. We need.
I mean, I was fine with Ferguson and Firemouth, but if you want likely, that's totally fine.
Who
Xavier
else?
Legette fell to us. Kamani Vidal,
of course,
is still there. We are only having 4 running backs at the moment.
Okay. What do you want to do?
No, what do you want to do?
Probably Kamani because you said the 4 running backs.
That's fine. We're kind of light on running back, so this is going to be.
We're not light on Kamani though.
No, that was kind of one of them. I know he's falling, but let's not keep on.
We didn't force
mid-round stand. We already have enough to where if we didn't have any more shares the rest of the season, we still have 40%. And he's going to be one of our 5 most exposed. So we don't want to force stuff happening. It's kind of like DeAndre Hopkins. Even though he's falling out of the top 100, we don't want to be like, oh, well, If he falls even further than like into the 120s, then okay, fine. But you really have to convince me to do it. Damian Pierce, another guy having a good camp,
Yep.
and he's going much earlier than ADP now.
And another guy from Houston that we actually talked about before the show, a guy I really liked in the pre-draft that we didn't know was 25 at the beginning of the season, is Jahar Jordan out of Louisville.
Mhm.
He's been making the buzz that he's the running back 3, competing with like possible third down back. One thing I want to say, because Steiger said I would love to see Dallas trade for a guy like Herbert. A guy like Herbert is a really cool term in this situation because Herbert is a guy that can create 15 plus rushes. Explosives is what they're called on offenses, you know? So a guy like Khalil Herbert, y'all haven't had since like young Zeke. Y'all, I don't know that y'all have really Tony Pollard maybe when he was the 1B was kind of an explosive type of guy that you could be like, if we hand this ball off, it's like he could get 15 yards pretty comfortably and we wouldn't be surprised by it type of thing.
I would say Steiger, because Dallas has been so conservative. I don't think, even unless Rico and Zeke, knock on wood, because we have a lot of Zeke, I don't think them making a move before the season starts.
Right.
But I will tell you what is going to happen. They're going to take one of the first running backs off the board in next year's class, and it's absolutely positively loaded up top. There could be 2 first rounders from the same team at running back.
I actually have something about that. I always talk, you know, Ashton Jeanty has been completely disregarded on EA's college football, but you know where he wasn't disregarded? PFF released their 2025 board, completely updated, and we're on go draft first.
I know who I'm taking.
Who are we taking?
The guy that you were flashing.
This guy.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It was either him or him. That's why I was like.
Well, I mean, with Jermaine Burton, he's actually fighting. He's not having as good of a camp, and
Right.
so Iosivas is now on track to be the wide receiver 3. So if you want to stack them, cool with a Joe Burrow, whatever. But Demario Douglas is actually playing in 2 receiver sets, and he's a slot guy. So I don't know why he's in the 180s, but he is. So just take him and be happy.
Yep. And but what I was saying about Ashton Jeanty is he actually, and he's one of the running backs that'll be in the next class. He
Boise
is
State.
out of Boise State. Yes, he is my favorite currently, from previous film, whatnot. He got ranked 7th on their big board, 7th, and I'm like, thank God, because he was like the 15th, or yeah, between 10 and 15 running back overall rating on EA Sports, and he got ranked 7th overall between any player on there. But they also did a really bad job on some players. James Pierce is in the 20s or something. Like, I'm like, how the hell? But
yeah, so
you know.
But running off a bunch of other ones, the reigning Doak Walker Award winner, Ollie Gordon, and the favorite to be this year, Oklahoma State has produced a lot of good running backs, and the GOAT at the position, in my eyes, Barry Sanders. Quinshawn Judkins, like I said, transferred to Ole Miss, and his teammate Travion Henderson, who would have been the running back 1 in this class, or
in the last,
very close,
right.
In the 2024 class. Omarion Hampton from UNC, very good dual threat. Ashton Jeanty, I'm sorry, that N just mentioned, and then the guy that's on the cover of
is
NCAA
like 10th overall.
is the 10th best running back in his own class.
Yeah, there's no way they put him on there. It's crazy.
I'm not saying I want him, but I'm just saying that's how deep the position is.
Jaden Ott, Devin Neal, the Taj Brooks out of Tech, Kyle what's his name, from Rutgers. I'm sorry, I'm trying to name them all. Trevor Etienne out of Georgia. It's too deep for
and so there's going to be a lot of running backs in the first, second, and third rounds next year. And remember, let's pick real quick. Probably got to go running back, right?
Yes.
Or Tolbert is the next guy, but Roshan.
Guy.
Yeah, Roshan is who I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go Roshan. Let's have another Cowboy fall to us.
That would be awesome. But yeah, so like Donovan Edwards should not be there. Like, I don't even know that he's better than Jordan James out of Oregon, Nicholas Singleton out of Penn State. Like all these names that you can put in there, and they're all going to be top 150 draft picks. Like, it's just
So I've been saying all summer, like, I was so excited to break down, and it's just deeper than we've ever seen, right? Well, next year, the position I'm anticipating being most excited about is running back. Just because running backs always you want to target as a rookie. This was a bad class, and we're
Terrible.
still just going rookie, rookie, rookie because we know the precedent of volume and opportunity, especially with some that went into good situations. Well, there's so many running backs up top that are either in contract years, uncertainty going forward. And so it's just like there's a lot of people that could be I can't even guarantee you, even though Joe Mixon just got extended, that he's going to be a starting running back if Houston wants to go with somebody in the third or fourth round next year, just because I think somebody's so talented that they could push him for legit targets. And on top of
Right.
that, he'll be 29 going on 30. Alvin Kamara, we like
Needs
him a lot. He
yeah.
will not be the
Kendra
starting running
Miller
back
has
next year. He'll
not
probably be
done
on
it.
another team. Najee Harris will not be the Pittsburgh Steelers starting running back. And I don't even know if Jalen Warren will be.
Right.
And I could go James Conner, same thing. I could go on and on. So
So
there's so many guys, and I have no idea how the ADPs are going to be, but it's just going to be exciting to see who lands where.
if so, Steiger said something about the media was big on Marshawn Lloyd in Dallas, and so just so everybody knows about Marshawn Lloyd, yes, 7.1 yards per carry, really cool, but he has never had a true workload. He is truly he's a third down back in my eyes. Which is a great compliment to a guy like Josh Jacobs, and that's why we take him and we pick him in this stuff. But truly, he's never going to have a full-time workload. What is it? 200? I think he had like 220 rushing attempts in 2 years, not 1 year, 2 years. One at South Carolina, one at USC, both USCs. Just kidding. But so you have to take some of that stuff with a grain of salt because this year you're going to get guys with like Ollie Gordon, most rushing attempts in the last like 10 years or something like that. Ashton Jeanty and Quinshon Judkins, both of those guys are going to be amazing all around types of players. It's just there's so much more talent in this class, and we don't have the talent at other positions that this position will just like be vaulted.
This is the same type of class that had like Kamara and Joe Mixon and Christian McCaffrey and all those guys. Like there was like 8 Pro Bowlers, Kareem Hunt, and all that stuff. So, what are you looking at?
I was just surprised Jermaine Burton was still here. What are we? 211? Okay. What do you want to do?
Star IOC this.
Where is he?
He's 210.
Okay. I don't know.
Running backs are kind of gone now.
Yeah. So. I'm glad we went Rojo.
And again, we've gotten a ton of Jermaine Burton. So even though he's fallen to us, unless he falls even further, I don't want to just force in, especially when we don't really need to.
Well, then we get the stack.
Yeah.
Which would be cool.
So that would be pretty dope. But at the same time, we do need a couple of running backs at the very end.
Dylan Lobb. My guy. He's
another guy that's just I don't even know as good as being just a guy, but by default, because Zamir White is literally a 0 in the pass catching category, that he could have a role being in a team that's trailing so much. So
yeah, there's some dude named Dortch that got drafted earlier, guys. It was inspirational, apparently. No, I think that the big thing is too with Dylan Lobb, like he is set like in his style. He will not take more than 2 rushes a game. I don't care if he's the starter.
But he could be like a JD McKissick that has no rushing, but 5 for 41.
Yeah, that's exactly his build. Like it is.
But again, as a 20th rounder, which it's funny, you look at the team 4 and they go Estime, Hill, and Lobb. 2 weeks ago, all 4 of them were in the 20th round.
Mm-hmm. And so we were getting some of them.
And that's how uncomfortable it's gotten, at the very end, trying to see who goes where.
What are we going to do? We almost got Jermaine Burton. Tez Walker goes. I think it's a stack with Lamar.
Deneric Prince is another guy that we started taking more shares of. He went 18th. Tank Bigsby we like if we have ETN. He went 17th.
I wonder what the running backs look like.
I don't even know, man.
Clyde. Jordan Mason. If we want some possible early work. Cam Akers.
Get all those free agents.
I don't know, dude. What do you want to do?
Screw running back.
That's what I'm thinking. We have 3 tight ends. We need a wide receiver.
Roman Wilson to have another piece of Pittsburgh. I don't know. Luke McCaffrey. I forgot the name of the reporter, but somebody was like, "Who's this year's Puka?" And they were very certain about Luke McCaffrey being the guy.
Rice out of Rice.
Mm-hmm. We have a close buddy of ours that went to Rice.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he's in the chat. Actually, he's in
Bears
Colorado.
Fan, so he should be happy with how highly we view his Chicago Bears this year.
Greg Dortch, Steiger said that Dortch is a goddamn hero, and I don't disagree with him for the fact that he did save a lot of people in their fantasy leagues last 2 years ago.
So, Steiger, if you mentioned the early portion when we did kind of intro, kind of breakdown of what's gone on over the last week, San Fran's running back room is in shambles right now.
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey's done for the preseason. Isaac Guerrero is out, and there's no talks with him. Eli Mitchell just went down, so they signed 2 running backs in addition to having Jordan Mason. So they're really just bodies right now already, and nothing's long term for any of them. But it's just unknown. But yeah, you are right. Jordan Mason was actually getting kind of some buzz over Eli Mitchell as the potential RB2 in that offense, which again we tried before as Eli Mitchell being an 18th, 19th rounder, and he was literally nothing until Christian McCaffrey went down week 17.
Right.
And is what it is. But we had to do a lot of other stuff in that build that had Eli Mitchell to for it to pay off for us.
Yeah. Dustin, real quick question: if you had the opportunity to take Justin Tucker or Greg Dortch, which one would you take? That's it's a tough question right there. So I'd love to see the answer. Dustin will draft 4 kickers in redraft. So if he can do that, I'm sure Justin Tucker is one of the guys that he would like to take. Tutu Atwell. Interesting. I haven't seen anything on him.
Nothing.
Okay. Cool. It wasn't just me.
He was a guy last year that people were like, Tutu's the guy over Puka, and we didn't really agree with that. But we also didn't take Puka, which was our biggest mistake. But again, that was everybody's mistake.
I was literally about to ask about Tim Patrick because I know he's the starter for Denver.
Yes. So full disclosure for those that aren't involved in our big friend league, we did a March Madness contest that like 12 people, whoever play, could get extra bucks to spend in our auction draft, and Dusty won it all. And so his context is saying that he won the NCAA tournament, so he can afford both with his extra buddy.
I need a running back, Cameron.
I can't help you with that, man.
I need a running back, Cameron.
You can play the narrative of Miles Sanders getting traded and going to Dallas.
Oh, this is so gross. What to do?
It's
I need a
awful.
pick, like actually though. Trey Sermon.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure. He's a guy that again we talked about being the clear 2 behind Jonathan Taylor, and guess why Zach Moss right now is a top 100 pick? It's because of his 3-game sample size when Jonathan Taylor was out the first 4 weeks of the season, and he just killed it, over 20 points in a couple of weeks. So Trey Sermon, we've beaten this drum as the last drum pick for a couple of years now, so there's not much faith in it because he's on his 4th team. But if you're in a workhorse potential load, a lot of these guys can just kind of come out of nowhere.
Right. I also have extra money in this, Dustin, I believe. So you need to back off, sir. I'm pretty sure I won some money also for our league. Rashid Ali. Okay. We don't believe in Keaton Mitchell coming back at all. Or we really just like Baltimore players.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Because Ali wasn't even on my top 15 running backs in the class. To say that he needs to go in the 20th round. Opportunities are your opportunities. I just don't think he'll get them.
I'm just saying, if you're down that bad that you have to stack Daniel Jones and Drake May, that's you probably had a rough draft.
Let's go see. I don't even remember our draft at this point. I feel like.
Oh, I remember every
pick.
It's so fun.
Oh yeah,
I really enjoyed our draft.
Well, we can compare it directly to Dustin's because he's right next to us.
Yeah.
But we got Amon-Ra dropped to us by 1 spot. Debo and Malik Neighbors, five receivers. Shoot, George Pickens, Keenan Allen, and then Isaiah Pacheco as our RB1, kind of a hero-esque RB. Jake Ferg, Dak fell to that. Javonte Williams because we needed to take a running back, and Chase Brown, of course, goes 1 pick before us. Caleb Williams, Pat Freiermuth, Caleb Williams to pair with Keenan Allen, Pat Freiermuth to pair with Justin Fields. Then we had to get some running backs. So Zeke, Tyler Algier, and Demario Douglas, who deserves to be much higher. Roshan, we love him. IOC from Cincinnati, a guy that had some buzz last year, but then got injured, having some more buzz. Wide receiver 3, most likely. Cincinnati, Roman Wilson, and Trey Sermon to round it out. Our running backs are a little rough, but I love everything else. I mean, everything else is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And then kind of commenting a little bit on Dusty's draft, I really like what you did. Is if you went Drake London and Bijan, I definitely think you should have went. And then with Will Levis, I know he's another guy that's risen. We haven't had a ton of, but I just don't know if I have enough confidence in him being a QB2, even with a strong QB1. But other than that, you did a really nice job. I think that who's your second tight end? Scroll down a little. Isaiah Likely. Okay. So again, I said he's at the very like I can get on board with being a tight end too. You went Dawson Knox just as a little bit more security, but you stacked Will Levis with Tyler Boyd, who's risen because of DeAndre Hopkins' injury. If you would have gone Kirk as your QB2, I would have given you an A for a draft. I think I'm going to say a B plus, maybe A minus. Just
you're
because
being very generous today.
You don't like it?
I think it's a B. I don't think it's a minus.
No, I like it based on the rules that he followed, and he actually did a lot of correlation.
Right.
So I'm pretty happy about what he did with that. His running back room is fine. His receiving room is fine. I would have loved to have a better backup quarterback.
Right. Backup quarterback.
But the day is what it is. He has really a bunch of, just the guys, but a lot of serviceable RB2s, and he's got a hero, obviously, as well.
Yep.
But pretty solid job.
Yep. He followed all the rules, like Cam said. I think ours is pretty solid, though.
Yeah, too. I really like how it turned out.
I don't want to go to that.
If I'm going to have a team, it better like this is all in.
So, you better get him at the 4-7.
Right. So, yeah, we'll hop into more. So, we're going to start with the Tim. So, we're going to click enter on that $3, $200K in total prizes draft in DraftKings. As soon as it turns 8:14 is when we're going to click on the button. If you want to win, it's shouting to Nick and Steiger and those that weren't able to get in. Even Brandon, if you want to join.
Yeah, please join.
Bailey, if he's still here. Whoever wants to join, as soon as it turns 8:14 on your phone in 40 seconds, that is when we're going to click enter. And hopefully we can all get in the same draft and we could just have a free-for-all.
It'd be pretty cool to get like all of our league mates to have one draft on best ball together. Because like it's a different beast, of course, but it would be a pretty cool little deal. And it'd be a lot cheaper. Our league's expensive compared to a $3 league. So that'd be pretty cool.
It's okay. We have a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Good personalities. This is our first year that we're actually returning on 12, which is that's kind of what I've always wanted.
Yeah, I know we have fab. We do a fab whole thing, and we do the whole extra IR spot, one less bench. Like we have our own little rules.
Hit now.
I did. Sure? Yeah, we hit now. Go.
Well, last time I went on a tangent. This time you went on a tangent. So we're at 4 out of 12 right now.
Oh, that's perfect.
If you did join,
Dustin, you can't sit out with 4 out of 12. Come on, man. Get in here. Don't miss it.
And anybody else that is joining for the first time or anybody that is new to GTD, feel free to join as well. Just fun, kind of collaborating and sniping each other, all that fun stuff.
For sure. Yeah, we're not going to tell you all the answers this time around. You have to do it yourself. No, I'm just kidding. Dustin, honestly, it's normally harder to draft. I feel like when you're right next to the person.
Yeah, it is.
Like when you're separate,
I'd rather be on complete opposite ends.
Ooh.
Alrighty. So this one's taking a lot slower than last week. It was weird because it was 4 out of 12 and then 12 out of 12. So
well, let's see. Because it doesn't. Oh, we're in.
Well, all right.
So it was just
let's see if anybody was able to join.
I tried. I guess we'll see. All right, Brandon, are you here? I see you.
Brandon's in there. He's got the 4th.
Yeah, he's trying to take my number.
All right, let's see.
I don't see.
Brandon's the only one, unless we got some new bodies in here.
Yeah, is anybody else in here with us that's in the chat?
Let's go, Brandon.
I'm here, fellas. Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, you're gonna have a fun start.
And your
fourth is one of my favorite spots.
We just got 6 again.
Hey,
how do we do that?
But this time, well, if we had the availability for both, maybe we go Bijan this time.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, I guess unless Jamar's there.
Yeah. I mean, unless something crazy happens, we're gonna get one of Jamar, Bijan, and Amon Ra.
Right.
Unless they all go, and then that means that either Tyreek or CD or Chris McCaffrey fell, which
Right.
won't.
Doesn't happen.
So
How much time do we have? Sorry.
you got
Let me
about
let me
probably a
check it
minute and a
out.
half.
Yeah, 56 seconds. Perfect.
Yeah.
Um,
Friendly reminder, guys, if you are doing DraftKings best ball drafts, they do count towards crowns. So crowns essentially is a system to where DraftKings gives you money back as you play contests.
right.
So every day you have one new contest for 24 hours. You can enter, reserve, whatever. And a lot of people, if you don't play that often, it's going to be like play $1 contest. You get bonus crowns. So if you click unlock mission and then you enter a best ball draft, it's going to count that. So I've got about 5,000 crowns just pending just because I've continuously added on and reserved stuff. So another fun way to get in money. So
Steiger missed out. Oh, he's in the 4 hole though with Brandon, so it should
all right.
start at the same
So
time.
y'all should have the exact same draft, all 20 picks.
And if you're new to this channel and you haven't watched us before do this stuff, we have a full introduction video for best balls
Yes.
that you should go check out. It's strategies, rules, all the things you need to kind of have every single different part of a draft and kind of understanding where to go and what to do and how to build your teams out so that they all make sense. Brandon's coming up. Wow, they're moving. Oh, Tyreek Hill, CD.
Oh.
Okay. So Brandon with the 4th pick.
You're gonna get probably one of the 3 that we talked about. Hey,
Ooh.
I'm
Okay.
completely on board with it, man.
Let's see how on board this guy is with letting us have the other guy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't expect
Oh,
Brees to go
yeah.
5th both times. So we're gonna go Chase.
Oh,
Screw
absolutely.
Bijan. Oh, I'm just saying because, like I said, Chase is our most exposed first rounder right now. So
And I'm excited about it.
all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Come on, let's
Woo!
do it.
4 hole.
That's
Steiger,
fun.
who'd you get? Tell us who you got. It's your 4 hole. Brandon goes Amon-Ra St. Brown to throw off the draft. What did you do?
But I don't mind that because, like,
No,
I actually have
I
seen a
agree.
couple of people because I think he's a safer player than a JJ or Jamar Chase.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Jamar each of the last 2 seasons has gotten banged up, and then also kind of had some solo play. A lot of that with Joe Burrow going down with injury. But Amon-Ra just going to get you 20 points every week. So
Yep.
if you want that as your anchor for receiver, like more power to you.
Bijan falls a spot.
See, it never happens when I'm at 8.
Well, it's because Brees got picked early.
Well, I understand that, but he got picked early last time too.
Yeah.
So.
And then he went at 7 still. And JJ fell to 10, which was absolutely nuts. Haven't seen that, and we're kind of, you can look at all the starting receivers that are up there, and you're way more comfortable in the first round with every quarterback over Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy. And that's why JJ is not our guy that we're going with more often than not.
Right.
Just makes it a little harder. Puka going at 11.
Yeah, pretty standard first 11. This was pre Puka injury that like that's the first 12 in ADP and first 13 were very standard draft. Other than it's less common for a Amon-Ra to go 4, but again, I am completely on board with it if you want more shares because you can't just take even shares of every single first rounder. That's lame. That's not fun, and that's just hedging bets.
We also have
you're having
a good amount of Amon-Ra too.
So
because we said
but again,
we're not
like,
taking JJ and we're
you gotta be
not taking
underweight on some
Tyreek.
guys, and so we're picking like Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Christian McCaffrey, and Tyreek Hill by default, just because we normally have gotten the 4th pick or the 1st pick, not the 3rd pick every time.
Right.
So haven't taken a ton of him. Let's see what we're about to do with our 2nd round because it'll be very interesting what you want to do.
Currently,
we could do Chase.
He's playing. Are you asking who he's playing? Tennessee, Cleveland, Denver.
Yeah, Denver is. So we're not taking any Denver players here.
But I personally want Kyron.
I was thinking Kyron or go with Debo again. That was my thoughts.
I think I think Kyron's the way to go.
Okay.
Week 12 by. So
totally
I love getting Kyron.
We've gotten a ton of Kyron. When it was the funniest thing when he fell to the 3rd round because of missing OTA practices.
Yep. Voluntary practices.
Here's the problem I have, right? So Kyron Williams next to and we got him in the 4th round last draft, guys. 4th round.
Wow. Okay.
So what's fun though is the perceived guy that is being a dummy is the guy that's in between me and
Yeah, it's
us and Brandon. So
it's
that's
amazing.
we're hopefully gonna get a lot of value.
You do love Olave. I know
Mhm.
you love Olave. It's a little early for him,
Hmm.
especially over
But
Devontae. But
hey, it's not bad. But anyway, what I was saying, what was I saying?
I don't know. Oh, Malik Neighbors.
No, no, it was something. It was something. Oh, I know what I was saying.
Okay.
So Brees Hall is a consensus first rounder, right? Kyron is just as productive,
Hmm.
more consistent,
And more
and
touches.
yeah, has more touch upside. And yet Blake Corum is now like one of the highest handcuff running backs to own, whereas 60 spots later, Braylon Allen, who is in the same exact role, is going
Well, I think the thing
in a
too
worse
that's
offense.
weird for me is we've seen Brees have an ACL tear.
Yes,
Kyron, of course, got hurt a little bit last year,
ankles don't count as
but it's not an ACL. It's
yes.
it's a big difference to me. So I
And
get
I'm
it.
not
Yeah,
saying that means Kyron needs to be in the first round, but I'm just trying to justify as even though we say, hey, pick your handcuffs, I'm not picking my handcuff in the 120s if he has no upside until my first rounder or first running back goes down. Because at the end of the day, if that happens, that team probably didn't win anyways.
Derrick Henry
No,
falling.
I don't care.
I know
I wanted Pacheco over him. He's clearly much higher in our rankings. And I don't know why that's that controversial.
it shouldn't be. Where are we? What pick are we? We're pick 30.
So what's
Okay.
our fourth round pick?
Pick.
Number wise.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, you could have gotten to the draft board, but it's okay.
They're at 43.
43. We can take the chance to see if Mahomes falls to us.
Ooh, that's
He's
fine
right
with
around
me.
41. I have a ton of Mahomes, but not
Not
much
with Kelsey. Yeah,
And so obviously you feel a lot better when you're going with
I'm down.
the Kelsey stack.
Either that or Ayuk, I guess.
Nah, I'm off Ayuk until I know where he's going, and even after that, I need him to
It's
fall
a weird. It's a
one more
weird
round.
discount though. Right now,
He is basically the same uncomfortable thing in the third round that we view everybody in the second round as, because I don't see him having more upside than a
well,
DJ Moore or any of these guys. Stephon Diggs,
if he's still in
that's
San
controversial
Francisco
as well.
though,
If he is, then okay, cool. But
that's why. That's the only reason you can justify it. And I don't know what the percentage that he'll be in San Francisco is.
I don't know.
Doesn't
But
matter. Brandon right now has Travis Etienne, Chris Olave, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love Travis Etienne, so I'm on board.
And he's risen, and we're still fine taking him.
Mhm.
In the early third round. He's just kind of one of the safest options, and I don't think it's even close to what his upside is compared to Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. And again, apparently that's controversial based on where their ADPs are on every platform.
Yeah, and Derrick Henry, goes actually late on this draft. Hey, Steegs, how is
How's
the
your draft
4 hole
going, man?
going, man? Let's hear it.
Is it going as great as Brandon's is? Because he is one of our favorite drafts right now.
Not his favorite, it's mine. I love getting Jamar Chase at 6. I mean, come on. Can't go wrong. I actually really like the players we have,
Yeah.
like
Be a lot
as
cooler
football players.
If this went exactly how we want it to go, but I'm uncertain.
I also like
have a feeling that the
that football
person
player.
before us is actually going to be stupid.
No.
No, I think he is.
Why?
Because
What's his name? That's what that'll tell us.
I don't think he's going to stack Ayuk with Brock Purdy. I
Jay
don't think he's going to
Chandy?
do that. Well, that was a close one.
That was scary.
Yep.
I'm more scared now.
That pink kind of got me a little bit. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
I'm more scared now because he might have wanted to go Lamar. And now I can't. Oh, but we could see him going the other guy.
I hope so. I hope he does. I'm rooting for him to go.
This guy's
Jalen Hurts would work out for him so well.
Much better than
Yeah, it
the
would.
other guy that we're not going to say the name of. And please auto pick. Thank you. Please auto.
That's another high five moment.
Yeah.
Come on.
Woo!
That never happens.
Holy crap.
Let's
That's
go.
awesome.
And again, like if you
Whoa,
go at
I
the
was a little
2-3
nervous.
turn, I've seen a couple where somebody goes Mahomes really early and to get Kelsey really early. I understand what you're trying to do. Wouldn't do it myself, but we've seen that before. But it's not that often you see middle of the third round Kelsey, late fourth round Mahomes. So that's pretty cool.
Steiger's got Chase, Devontae, and Waddle so far in his draft. I'm sorry, I was
This
talking
one is
weirdly into that.
mhm.
It's a crazy one. Apparently, I don't really know what that means. I
All right.
wish ours was just as crazy as yours.
So we got an auto drafter. A bunch of top quarterbacks went, so I don't think Brandon will go that route. I bet you he try. Oh, I know who he's going. He's going. Let's see where he goes.
To see if you're right.
I know exact somebody with a week 10 bye. Because I know he likes
I know what you're
him a lot
talking
as
about
well.
now. I know what you're talking about.
Or maybe he's not there. Or no, he's conflicted. That's yep.
Yeah, he
That's
did
who
it.
it was. Yeah.
Good guess.
Yeah.
Good guess.
No, that's a solid start so far, Brandon.
Wow, 4 receivers on that team there. Well, that should push running backs back at least a little
Maybe.
bit.
We really need to kind of hammer some receivers though.
Yeah, we do. Which
Nobody's really falling in this draft.
no, everybody's taking receiver here. So
Hmm.
we're gonna do the old switcheroo where we get receivers when they need running backs.
Yeah. And the other thing about that, what makes a Kelsey Mahomes stack so tough is that I really don't like going 1-1-1-1 for my first 4 picks because that means you're kind of at a deficit at both running back and receiver. Because if you just hammer receiver, then you're not going to have a ton of strong RB2s or RB3s.
Right.
And so I'd rather go double run or not even double running back, but double receiver and then Kelsey Mahomes. That's more ideal if you're going to go that route. In my eyes.
Yeah, it would have been Devontae there. We don't need tight end. That's good.
Oh, I know who Brandon's going to get again.
Week what?
His bye is week 11.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Unless he likes the other guy more. I don't know. Either way, it would work for him. But I think that's where he's going to go. Yeah, if it's fine going.
That
Andrews.
was the other guy.
But
let's see.
Bully tight end. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Yeah. So we could go. I know it's going to be a little early, but doing a double with Cincinnati makes sense here.
Yeah.
Or we reach on a Kansas City receiver or Keenan Allen. Probably more the latter.
Where's Keenan Allen?
He's 58. Or is he gone?
He's gone.
Oh, he's gone. That's unfortunate.
I'm gonna start
T.
That's I think T Higgins is the move.
That sucks.
It's okay.
That's fine.
I mean, we do have Jamar Chase.
Yeah, no. I understand that, but it's kind of like it's not as necessary to go Mahomes and Burrow because we're gonna have to go 2 quarterbacks in the top 85, which is not ideal when you have Mahomes.
I know.
Because I'd rather just go Mahomes and then get Justin Herbert for the backup upside.
Right. No, for sure. Keenan Allen went the pick before. That's why.
That's why. I didn't see him go.
Yeah, I was wondering too.
That's a little late for James Cook going.
Yeah.
I think he should be much closer to the Josh Jacobs range than Rachaad White for some reason. But also, I know that James Cook has had some fumbling issues in the past. And then also, I saw a report today where he went up the sideline and he got stripped. So it's kind of like he's one of those that, yeah, he's doing great. And then that's why we can't give you the ball at the goal line. Which,
volume is king.
Again, he had 3 rushing touchdowns last year as a running back, which is never good.
And on a team that scored a lot of points.
Yeah.
Wasn't like he was on the Giants, who we talk about all the time, or something like that, or New England. Like Ramondre was terrible because he couldn't score touchdowns last year, but he was also on the lowest total score team in the NFL, I believe.
Yeah. So,
let me see.
All right, so we're gonna have to just kind of hope on receiver a little bit more. They go in double quarterback there. Interesting. At least he stacked Pittman. Oh, and I guess he went Harrison 13 too. So he went stack on both of them. I guess that is okay. But the thing is, Anthony Richardson is what everybody wants Kyler Murray he's already proven to be. And we just aren't on board taking him in the first 5 rounds. And I don't know if it's even necessary to do both.
You know, I was really happy that we had that same feeling. Because we don't always agree on everything. That's not how this works. But when we do, it feels really good because it's like, oh yeah, double whammy. You know, it's like makes it that much better. And Anthony Richardson was way off our board off the rip.
Yeah.
So.
And we understand the upside because that's why we like Justin Fields so much because we don't love him as a quarterback prospect or quarterback in the NFL, but we can't deny that he has 1,000-yard rushing upside. So whatever. But he was going in the 18th round a week ago, and that's why we're getting him so much.
Please don't auto draft. Please just pick your pick. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So
you picked
before
that
you do
pick.
click, it is kind of interesting because both he and Calvin Ridley fell. Calvin Ridley kind of slight boost because of DeAndre Hopkins being out. Don't really have much of either guy.
That was
And
for the
again,
Mahomes stack.
yeah, you're right.
I know. That's why I
I
said that.
forgot about that. That's even better.
That's why I got excited.
Okay, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. And then also, who's to say that Xavier Worthy can't fall to us again? But again, that could probably kind of be a little overkill.
Yeah, a lot of buys, week 6 buys there. Brandon with the
I
James
knew
Conner pick.
if he wouldn't have gone so fast, I would have called that one as well.
No surprise there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think James Conner's been on this team for 3 years straight.
Can it be 4?
Yeah,
Find
you
out on
can
August 31st.
You can pay for him. You can have him, Brandon.
That's really late for Ridley. And
Yeah.
again, we haven't had a ton of shares of him, but he's going up to the early 5th round now that I've seen with DeAndre Hopkins being out. So very interesting that he fell that far to the 6'10".
Samir. Ooh, what are you
Okay,
gonna
so
do?
looking at looks like Brandon a little early for quarterback for whoever he's trying to go with. Obviously, he went 3 receivers we like, but all of them are going outside the top 100 in terms of ADP. That guy fell us to a round and a half later.
Yeah, we were
Mr. Dak Prescott
killing it last draft
He
on
went with
the
the Texan
value.
double stack with true zero RB.
Right. When do we have to pick Burrow? Okay. We don't.
Never.
Because Brandon wants him, and
All right, Brandon.
we have all the players, but Brandon doesn't.
That
care.
is the least nice thing you've ever done.
Wow,
That's crazy.
Tough, right
He
there,
witnessed the Chase and the Higgins.
Damn,
picks.
and he gave us Chase. He gave us Chase. What do you want to do?
I want to kill Brandon.
Wow.
So
tough.
I think the easiest click probably is Christian Watson.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we already have 2 week 12 buys. Otherwise, I would have said Keon Coleman. But yeah, Christian Watson is my bet right here.
I still would have taken Christian Watson over Keon Coleman.
I know.
Me personally.
Oh yeah, I'm just still. Brandon made us sad. I mean, at the end of the day, you could have
What are
you could have gone with Chase, and we could have gone with Amon-Ra, and we would have both had fun. But
sabotage in the chat.
I wish Steiger was our 4th pick.
Oh,
he would have listened.
No, but he would have taken Jamar Chase.
Hey, that's fine. We wouldn't have gone T. Higgins, and we would have had another type of build. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not mad.
We'd have probably gone James Cook.
I'm not mad. I'm just depressed. All right.
Well,
so George Kittle falling to the 7th round was pretty insane as well. But he went to the team that probably least could have used him. There's actually 3 teams at the end of the rounds that have 0 tight ends so far, or 4 actually.
4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, you give it and take it.
How's your draft going, Steiger? Give us a full update on this crazy draft.
Yeah. You can't say craziness and then just go MIA.
You can't say there's no ill intent when you do it. It's none of that works.
Oh man.
Curtis Samuel with the 8-1.
Okay. So we could actually go a lot of different routes here. Probably other than quarterback, I'm open to pretty much everything.
Yep. Agreed.
And it's interesting that both the 8-1 and the 8-2 did not go tight end for Njoku or Brock Bowers, which I'm not concerned about jinxing because if we don't get him, we have Travis Kelce. But
right. Yeah, I don't see them getting both in the next 3 picks either. This guy might go tight end, and he didn't.
Yeah,
he ran Zach Moss over Chase Brown.
Oh, I know who I'm getting then. So we're just gonna go 3 Cincinnati players.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Ill intent.
All right, so JSN still on the board.
That's what I was gonna say.
JSN, Brian Thomas as a secondary potential stack, and Brock Bowers obviously who we take a ton of, and then if you wanted our second running back, because Chase will not make it to the ninth round.
Jason went.
Jason went. Okay,
Yeah.
then I'd probably go with Chase Brown. And then we had a phantom triple stack.
Great.
Yeah,
Woohoo.
we're having a great time.
Let's see. Oh, sorry. I know I need to
Alright.
talk into this thing sometimes. I wish I had. Next, one of the things I want to get next is one of those ones that goes on your little neck, and so when you walk around, it follows you.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
All right.
Especially when we go to games, we're gonna need them
That'd be
for
pretty cool.
anything for videoing.
All right. 8-10 is actually really late for Jalen Warren. We haven't really touched him this year, but I haven't really seen him fall into the hundreds.
Steiger has not answered why this thing is crazy. I need to know. Honestly, I don't. I like our build. I think we're doing pretty solid.
I like it. Don't love it for obvious reasons. Man. Oh, Steiger got Burrow too. That's great. That's great to know, Steiger. Awesome.
Did you get him in the
Fun.
4th round? Because I feel like you're missing people.
Yep.
I think there's people between Waddle and Burrow and Cook. He took Dalvin Cook. That's not James Cook. Romeo Dobbs. Let's see. Who needs this guy right here? That's who's taking him. Okay. Never mind. Love me. Yeah. Yeah. Brandon. Love me. Come on.
All right.
Come on.
So
let's
see what Brandon does.
I think I know who Brandon's actually taking.
I don't know who's on the board. I've been throwing all out of whack. Oh, I'm not.
Yeah, that's who I'm hoping Brandon doesn't, go ahead and snipe.
No, he doesn't need one.
He doesn't need one though. Yeah, exactly.
But again, I won't.
He did. This guy.
It's fine. We probably didn't need a second.
But it would have made me happy.
No, I know.
What about this guy?
Yeah, no, that's who I probably preferred in all honesty.
He's fun.
Because we really need more than just Cincinnati and
week 12 bye though still.
Listen, we gotta take what we can.
Okay.
Based on getting
that
sniped by a guy 2 picks between us.
That makes where we should probably go Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Brandon, as another reminder, just I personally, if I'm ever on a Mark Andrews build, and we will not, sabotage you, promise. But Isaiah Likely, if you're going Mark Andrews doing him, I promise it'll
work out. Yeah,
massive dividends for you.
Because
but it would require
right?
probably a 3 tight end build. But I think you can get away with that with the rest of your roster if you wanted to go that route.
The 4 weeks Mark Andrews, it was 4 weeks, right? Mark Andrews was out 7 weeks. Okay,
tight end 5.
Yeah, though for that 7 weeks,
and you can get him in the 16th round right now.
Yep.
So nobody else has that upside, even Taysom Hill, which he has annoyed us as a gnat if he's tight end eligible for a few seasons now.
So Steiger went while we're doing this. Steiger went Chase, Devontae, Waddle, Josh Jacobs, Joe Burrow, James Cook, and David Montgomery.
I personally probably wouldn't have gone David Montgomery.
Yeah, Demont.
I would have probably gone with a 4th receiver. With I'm assuming what was the 6th round, or a tight end.
7th. Looks like 7th round.
If it was the 7th round, that was a value. But I'm assuming that he went Joe Burrow in the 7th round, because if he went in the 6th round, that's really early to reach on him.
Yeah, so you could have gone.
But
Christian
in our
Watson
rankings,
or something.
That's right on board with what we have him. But again, we're picking for value, unless we got to force it, because I guess we needed to take him in the 6th round in our draft. But we just got excited with Hollywood Brown falling to us.
We did.
He's been falling.
And it was cool. It was very cool.
All right. So as much as Trevor's fun.
It's week 12, though.
It is another week 12, and we do need a 3rd running back. Or another receiver that's not a week 12 bye. Tajay Spears don't have a ton of. Jerome Ford is safe.
What do you want to do?
I mean, I'm giving you the options.
No.
You got the clicker.
Oh man, you're not.
Tajay Spears.
Okay.
And then hope that Trevor Lawrence falls, and if he doesn't, whatever.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we know who's gonna snipe us, so it's okay. At least we know that much. Nah, I don't think. I mean, he actually could go because he has Travis Etienne, and then the guy at the beginning, I think, is the one with Christian Kirk and no quarterback. So I'd expect.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying I'd expect him to go at this pick right here.
Nice pickup, Brandon.
Yep.
Steiger's saying that he has 2 Raiders. I will say, it is uncomfortable to do, like, even when we've done that twice, we haven't double stacked really, unless we needed a third quarterback, just because we have no idea. The odds have flipped twice now between Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew.
It's Gardner Minshew, guys. Come on.
Whether or not it is, it doesn't matter. It's not. You don't feel safe about him being the starter all season, because if they're 5-12 or 5-9 or something like that, I think they're more likely to just AOC get in there, and we're going to get a top 5 pick and hopefully get, Shador or Connor Weigman, Dusty.
Yeah. No, Weigman definitely deserves to be the number 1 player at the position.
Even over Carson?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, talent-wise, yes. Has he put it together? No, but he had an injury, so it's one of those things.
I mean, there's a lot of guys. Jaden Daniels is the most recent one where he just kind of is a late round pick that all of a sudden it's the second pick in the draft. Joe Burrow was the first pick, but he was a projected fifth rounder.
Yeah.
So
it's Cam Ward. Cam Ward is going back to school. He's a guy that, has an opportunity to go from like a 5th round. A lot of actual like solid quarterbacks. There's no great quarterbacks.
And I'm not a true fan of him being, a pro quarterback, but Quinn Ewers, like, talk won't go away of him being another round pick. This is the second straight year he's been a top 10 projected pick early in the season.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of quarterbacks that I think should have 2nd round grades. No, I don't know right now that there's any 1st round graded quarterbacks, but there's a ton of 2nd round graded quarterbacks.
All right. So with this pick, it's uncomfortable. I wish I could say Rashid, but that would be a 4th receiver in a week 12 bye.
It's got to be Brandon Cooks.
Well, I was thinking actually Trey Benson.
Or Trey Benson, that's fine.
Reason behind it being we do need a 4th running back. We don't need immediate production from him. And also he correlates with a week 17. And just have Kyron and Trey Benson just trade 50-yard touchdown runs, Bombs. That would make this build very, very happy.
Bombs. Why do you hate 2 Raiders there, though? I mean,
the only one that's not a value, that's what I was going to get to, that is not a true value to us based on our ADP is Zamir White.
Right.
And it's one because we have a PPR ranking, but also just because he's now vaulted into the 6th round, and it's just like, rather not. But Devontae Adams is the end of the 2nd round, and he's been great for a while, and it's until age really sneaks up on him, which can happen at any season at this point. But, even with the bad quarterback, he's still a top 10, upside as a receiver. And then, Brock Bowers is going way lower than he should be. And so I'm not hating that those are the 2 you went. And then even somebody that we haven't gotten a ton of, but Jacoby Myers going in the 10th round. Like he has all the upside to be a top 50 receiver, and he's going outside the top 50 and closer to 60. But at the same time, when you're going as a wide receiver 60 and you finish as wide receiver 50, that doesn't, even though technically numerically that worked out, it probably didn't help you out. You need more upside than that. You need a wide receiver 60 to be a top 40 receiver, or a wide receiver 3 to truly be, a difference maker on that roster.
Where do you think Devontae Adams was in targets last year? Overall. Second.
He's been well, I know that because I looked it up, and he's been top 2 for 4 straight years.
Well, there you go. So I just don't know that no matter who's at quarterback, he's going to get his volume. He might not catch the 70% that you want to see, but 75% you want to see, but you're still going to get 60% out of him, and that's pretty damn good. Okay, let's see. We need a backup quarterback sooner or later. No correlation.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of tight ends went in this turn in between our picks. So That's kind of where I was looking towards, and now I'm no longer in that boat.
Kirk is gone.
Um,
You're
don't
making this difficult.
we've had 5 receivers or 6?
5.
5. So I probably would say Jahan Dotson is my preference. If you wanted to have an unstacked Baker, okay, cool.
We could go Baker and like Kate Otten or something.
One thing, yeah, we could, and then maybe Jalen McMillan.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Cool. It's gone. I didn't get it in time.
That's fine.
All right. Yeah, it's fine.
One thing that we did bring up off camera was, we've talked of Kamani, obviously, and he's not getting any runs with the ones. And it's just like, hey, Gus Edwards or JK, JK is not, even though he's been running with the ones and he's had good interviews and apparently he's doing fine.
Right.
He hasn't risen enough to where it's just like, oh yeah, the workhorse running back for the Chargers is still going in the 13th round. And now that Kamani's fallen back into the 170s again, I'm completely on board if you're getting one of Gus Edwards and JK and Kamani and having, the upside for a high volume offense or high volume running back as a RB4/5 is kind of in the cards for me now, just based on Kamani falling further back than we anticipated. But it's also before preseason action. I would anticipate him having way more action than any other running back in his, in the Chargers' first game.
Yeah.
I don't think that JK will play. Gus Edwards may play a tad bit, but that's it.
I wouldn't play either of them.
And Kamani would probably be going with Isaiah Spiller, shot for shot to see who's truly the RB3 in that offense.
Right. I honestly think like I wouldn't play either Gus Edwards or JK with just the injury history.
Mhm.
It's just not worth it in my opinion.
Exactly. So he's going to get a ton of looks, and guess what? If
he's good,
if he goes 10 touches and gets 60 yards and a touchdown, his ADP is going to rise back where we thought it was going to go to begin with. It's just because all we have is speculation and who's running with ones and twos. And guess what? He hasn't been running with the ones.
We could do
there's
it.
good reason.
We could do it.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Let's do it. Because we haven't really done it. And so I think no matter what, earlier when we were talking about it, so the same sentiment was already being talked about by us. We talked about the fact that we should, if we're going to take JK or Gus, you need to make sure you get Kamani. But now, with the fact that JK is actually, in my opinion, had the better camp news than Gus Edwards,
Yeah.
I think that JK might become the number one. Injury is still an issue. Injuries across the board are still an issue with these two guys. Kamani could be the first guy in. I've seen, they have a 4-man split back there right now with just guys that haven't done it. What's up?
So Brandon was like, I was gonna take Dobbins, but I gotta suck these accusations. He's like, oh God, duck the accusations because he's being sabotaged.
Oh, I see.
Yep. That's a mighty fine pause you got there, sir. But yeah, and if you would have went with him, like that wasn't gonna make us mad as you made us in the 10th round that I still haven't gotten over. But yeah, so and then Steiger, I know you said wide receiver 3. You went through wide receivers at your start, so you have more depth than you believe you think you do. And I don't mind your team at all. Just like I said, I think it was a little early to go through running backs based on the ones you went with. Yeah. But in a redraft league, having those 3 as your anchor is much stronger. That's why running backs are so much more vaulted up on in redraft leagues, just because like you need guys that can fill that position really fast, and it's just a bigger priority on running backs and receivers. And then even redraft leagues, I really highly advise, instead of going double quarterback, going just one stud tight end, and you just have way more positions.
Which we have currently.
Yes.
But we do need a quarterback and a tight end.
So my thoughts are, once again, the same guy that we keep on pushing, Justin Fields, or we can go with Will Levis as a QB2.
You want to do that in this round?
Listen, I mean, if we want to give Brandon some payback and take Likely, then we can do that. But
that's really what I wanted to do. Right, and it wasn't for the payback. It was because he's the right pick, in my opinion.
That's fine. Suck it, Brandon.
Ha.
Oh, I mean, duck it.
Beesh.
Oh God! All right, so we got about 5 rounds to go. Obviously, we still need our second tight end, so we're gonna hope that.
No, we just got 2.
Oh, I mean, our second quarterback.
Quarterback.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
But again, that's completely fine. It's on the board. Brandon's probably going to snipe us right back, but he also took Aaron Rodgers, so I hope he does not do that. Because
That wouldn't make sense.
no, he does need to do that because he took 2 quarterbacks with Week 12 buys.
Oh, you got dog it. You got to pay attention to that, Brandon.
Golly,
A whole lot of sucking and ducking. And he did it. He did it. This guy.
we got to put that on a T-shirt.
Look at that guy. Look what he just did.
Yep. Hey, listen.
I know
Who was there?
it's the right
but,
thing to do.
You know, had you done something different with your other pick, if you would have stacked Deshaun and Amari Cooper,
Yeah, why didn't you just take Deshaun? You would have got Amari Cooper stack and
sir.
Hiya.
Goodness.
And then we would have got Justin Fields. See how that worked out
Took both our quarterbacks
for everybody.
Trying to run a podcast here, Brandon.
You're messing it up. No, this is actually the team that's going to win $1 million, $200,000. So
he gets a brand new house and thinks he can just draft whoever he wants to.
It's not his fault. He can he can see the animations.
But can he see the?
He couldn't see the buys.
I've seen him try to read signs, street signs and stuff, and he has a little more difficulty than he probably should.
Oh, look at that!
That's a good pick.
Another one.
We have a ton of Douglas, ton of Wilson. Like those picks.
So Jaleel McLaughlin. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't you dare.
Man, this is tough.
We're gonna have to go with
Derek
Carr. No, it's not tough at all. We're going exactly who we intended to go.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But not so much that problem. We still don't have any quarterbacks.
I understand that, but if we're gonna go JK, we need to go
absolutely
with Kamani, just like we said, because otherwise we would not have touched JK.
Correct. So. We still our build is actually very interesting because I actually really like our running backs, and then I love having 2 like hero style quarterback and tight end. So we're better off than I thought. For some reason, I'm sweating over here. Maybe it's the jacket. But
what is that logo again?
It's our
logo. GTD logo.
It's our logo.
We got merch now.
Merch.
Not selling yet.
No.
But we need to start wearing it, so we just stop wearing the same clothes.
Yes.
I feel way too repetitive.
We're gonna get some in different colors. It'll be great. And then of course we'll get some out to y'all whenever we get to a point where we have some, we'll get some out.
But we're gonna have to do some laws if we're gonna get some discounted merch. Like we're gonna make sure that you're in the patron.
Oh yes.
You're gonna be needing us on X. You're needing to liking things and having notifications turned on. You're gonna have to be subbed. You're gonna have to be following us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on.
You'll basically be our intern's intern.
Yes.
And
Steiger is being second intern, and he's flirting with being third sometimes based on what his lack of participation.
Nah, he's been great.
But no, he's been great.
He's been great. We're just giving him hell. I'm happy that Brandon is in a draft with us. I'm happy Dustin drafted with us. Nick drafts with us. I'm sorry that Steiger couldn't get in here with us. But we want more people to get in here. As many as possible would be great, so that we can have, the community drafts are always fun. Especially when we know that there's people just, kind of capabilities of bouncing ideas off of each other. If you have your own team in here, we can kind of talk you through why we would do certain things. It looks like who's next? I know who I think.
And then look how much Brandon's making us sweat because of him sniping us a couple times. Wow. IOC was going 16th round now. Which again, that's kind of where Jermaine Burton was going earlier. So wide receiver 3 for Cincinnati. All right. Well, we could go with our 4th Cincinnati player.
I think the answer is Bryce Young.
Who's the other quarterbacks for me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is the only guy that I feel good is going to start all year. So, yeah, let's go Bryce Young and be sad about it.
I'm not sad. It's fine.
A lot in hindsight, even though I'm still mad at Brandon and haven't forgiven him, at least we got Mahomes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, hey, Joe Burrow, we're targeting as our quarterback 1. And then it's just like we're completely scrambling because we have no stackable quarterback because we went with receivers on bad teams or rough situation. Like we've gotten some DK, we've gotten a ton of JSN, but we basically have zero Geno Smith because I don't have confidence, and maybe Emery shares this precedent, but that he's going to be the starter all year just because
Sam Howell's really good at football, guys.
Yeah.
He also was one of
And
the passing leaders last year. He's basically the
and that doesn't
reincarnate.
mean that he's better than Geno, but I
No.
think I don't think Geno is a clear upgrade in
He's
talent.
just Jameis Winston 2.0. Like that's what Sam Howell is to me, kind of.
Yes.
Like he just wants to
And
chuck
with
the ball.
Geno sometimes doesn't want to take chances,
Mhm.
and so it's like if they're just like, dude, we need to move the football. Sam Howell's like, okay,
I'll throw it.
give me 50 throws, I got
Yeah,
you.
I'll take
throw
it
it for 400
whole
yards.
way. Just as long as we don't put up 30 points on defense this year, that'd be great.
Mhm.
Yes, it is almost time, Reagan. That is Reagan. Yes. Okay. All right. We're about there. Less than a month away from the first real kickoff. And tomorrow.
I think yesterday was the 30-day mark till the kickoff.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
yeah, because
29 days. Well, it
28,
must be a 31 day month then. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
So
Mathing.
yeah. But yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, tomorrow it's going to be really, really cool. What's this about a new intern? No. He's your intern. That was what we were trying to get at. You're the intern, and we're getting an intern for you.
That's what the apostrophe means. Yeah. All right. Again, Brandon, we didn't cover his last pick, but Jaden Tolbert, one of our most exposed receivers. He's having a hell of a camp. There's basically no competition. The only competition with him is a guy named Jalen Brooks, who I don't think had more than 500 yards in a season in college.
No.
So, and Kavonte Turpin, who is primarily a returner. So, yeah, nice pick.
You're ridiculous. Juwan Johnson is injured, but he will be back. So that's not, I mean, if that's the guy, because really tight ends are really low right now.
We also need you to comment on some videos, Mr. Intern, because we took haven't seen any comments lately. And I'm not talking about hold on. I'm not talking about the.
I got 16 seconds.
Hey, we can figure it out.
Yeah, with this.
Yeah.
Oof. Kendre.
Yeah.
It's probably.
I mean, we're in the 200s at this point, right?
Yeah.
So again, I don't want to force stuff. No,
just kidding.
Yeah, there's. I don't want to force stuff with guys that are falling that we've gotten a ton of that are not either having good camps or good situations. But again, what pick was that? 210.
Yep.
So
we need to go receiver.
Is what it is, man.
We're gonna need to go receiver.
Oh, 17th round. Oh, it was 190s. It's okay.
Let's see. Yeah.
So we're probably done at running back.
Yeah, we're done.
Nice.
And we need
maybe
to
if you wanted the third quarterback, you can talk me into it.
Can you talk me into it? Is the real question. Because it's not pretty. Do we have a stackable quarterback? Troy Franklin all the way down at 204 is just wild to me. Y'all do realize that the Denver Broncos put all of their rookies at the back of their depth chart at the beginning of the year. That's what they did. Every single rookie is at the end.
And that's just why. That's because everybody's following depth charts.
Bo Nix is in the back of the depth chart. And so Jarrett Stidham is not starting for them. I'll just let y'all know now.
Depth charts are the least important, or early August depth charts are the least important amount of information that you can find. Last year, Bijan Robinson was the third string running back behind Cordero Patterson. And I know he didn't have the touches that we wanted and desired, especially me because I had a bunch of him. But he was never close to being behind Cordero Patterson in touches. And he was the healthy guy all year. It means absolutely nothing. What matters is snap counts with ones and twos, which we will break down during preseason. We're going to have 3 different preseason videos where we break down important, notable information, guys that ran with the ones, starters, or guys that we perceive to be starting that did not run with the ones. That is kind of more concerning information.
This guy's running with the ones, if it makes anybody feel better. And I like him.
Yeah, it's either him or Troy. Who you want to do?
Week 12 bye.
Both of them are week 12. Oh, no. Troy's 14.
But I was going to go Bo, Troy if we did that.
I would just
Troy it.
Yeah, Troy.
Okay. I like Troy. I mean, I like Troy at Oregon. I don't understand why he fell to the 4th round. So we're just going to not act like he's bad at football for a second.
Bring back up the Broncos depth chart again, just
because it's just so ridiculous. I was like,
again, I know it's stupid, but I just want to say the other names that he's actually fighting for with playing time, because I think he's a slow burn because Tim Patrick's back, and he's okay
Right.
enough to take roster spot. Josh Reynolds has been enough to
Marvin
get
Mims.
snaps. Marvin Mims was actually a really solid player that we liked a lot, and then he
Plays
just
slot a lot though, I think.
yeah,
He's
no,
in the
he's
slot, so
their perceived
primary.
starting slot.
Yeah.
But again, he's been running a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. So is Josh Reynolds, and so is Courtland Sutton, who's one of the below average wide receiver ones in football. So really not much to fight for, but I just don't know by default if he's going to get a ton of playing time out the gate.
Yeah.
But being outside the top 200 now as a wide receiver 7 or 8, come on now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the fact that like he's not capable. It's almost like people are like, oh well, he won't grow into anything. Audric Estimé was at the back of their depth chart. Bo Nix, like we said, they're defensive players. Like it just is what it is on how they did that. But Troy Franklin to me is not the last player in at wide receiver. Like that's just
No.
not realistic.
Because again, remember, most teams take 5, or if they're really good special teams players, 6 receivers on
Right.
game days. I don't see Lil Jordan Humphrey beating him out for a game day roster spot, or Brandon Johnson, or Philip Dorsett, who's on his 8th team, or David Sills. Remember when I was like, David Sills is going to be really
The
good.
5th
Yeah.
from West Virginia.
Yeah. He did not pan out.
He did not.
But yeah, I just saw his name on that team.
I
and he's
remember
gonna get cut,
when David
so.
Sills got a lot of like hype all of a sudden. All right.
He was the guy that
Should we go Corley? He's still there. Dylan Lobb.
either that, or if you want a third quarterback and get Bo Nix.
Yeah, we can stack. That's fine.
Finally get a stackable quarterback.
Yeah. Boo.
Makes me sick. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, we have a double
so we got
stack,
one more.
So that's good.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
And Kelsey. One more. And then we'll get out of y'all's hair.
One
We appreciate
more.
y'all hanging out with us.
Yeah, like I said, we'll be doing this the rest of August. Wednesday. In 2 weeks we're going out of town on Thursday, so we haven't decided if we're going to do a Tuesday or Wednesday stream. But either way, it's going to happen on one of those 2 days, and then Wednesday is the rest of the summer till we get into some stuff. But a lot of fun things to do: updated power rankings, updated fantasy rankings, talk about preseason and what that means, any injuries, breaking news, predictions for season records, all that stuff. It's going to be a busy month for us to put out content, but it's a lot of fun information, interactive information, and all stuff we want you guys to comment on. That's just one of our biggest asks, is just interact with us. We're doing community things. We want to get y'all's takes. We're not right all the time. We're not preaching gospel. We're just taking our takes, and
yeah,
if you agree, cool. If you have another perspective or another vibe, because a lot of it's vibes too. Like if you got just vibes that somebody else is just going to come out of the NFC or about this RB2, I don't care what it is, and I don't care if you disagree. I want to hear about it, and I want to have it reasoning, not just saying, we've seen people saying like, oh, there's no way this person's better. Okay, why?
Yeah, tell me how.
Like if it's just vibes, that's fine, but just tell me the vibes. That's stuff that we kind of want to kind of tick up, especially towards football season, because a lot of you guys that are our friends and really close, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. But we're not going to be commenting on game days when stuff happens in group chats. We're going to be like, hey, take over to Discord. We're going to talk in there. And hopefully have a lot more new friends that are going to come out. And
did something
and
happen to Malachi Corley that I didn't know about?
I will try to do a 10-second Google.
I tell you.
Internet's not working. That's cool.
The Jets signed Corley, blah, 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 analysis. No, nothing happened. He's going to be our last pick in the draft.
The only news I know of in the Jets receiving room is that Mike Williams is off the pup.
Oh, that's good.
But again, we want 0 shares of, and I kind of giggle if somebody says that he's a sleeper, because wide receivers coming off of ACL. In addition, we normally that's a running back kind of thing to stay away from, but
he's been
receiver too.
Before,
it's just as bad.
Yeah.
And I think I don't remember the duration of it, but there was only 2 receivers that were top 25 wide receivers come after an ACL injury, and they were like higher draft picks that kind of did okay, but didn't exceed their ADP expectation.
Right.
So it's just not and he's 30. I just have no interest. But Malachi Corley in the 20th round, come on now.
Talk to me on Jarrett Stidham. It's just basically staring at the depth chart and thinking that guy's going to start, and he's not. There's Josh Reynolds by Brandon. See, he
Nice.
could actually be someone that
He's going to be in 3 wide
participates.
receiver sets.
Dallin Holker is a guy that we had, and if you want to go back and watch our tight end video from when we did our pre-draft stuff, I think we were still in the other room in our little chairs. That guy was in our top 5 tight ends, and he's been playing a lot. He's going to make a roster spot, and that's why he's being picked here. I don't think that he actually has any fantasy upside, but it's a 20th round pick. Jawan Johnson continues staying hurt, and they use Taysom Hill as a running back. Yeah, well, he's the starter.
Right.
You can write that narrative, I guess.
All right, let's stay here. We'll kind of recap our team. We'll take a look, one more final unbiased look at Brandon's, and then we'll get out of here.
All right, I'll let you do this one.
Okay, so start off, Chase Feldos at 6. Always fine taking him there. Kyron Williams, one of our exposed high-end running backs, and we're perfectly fine in the mid-second. Kelsey, we took in the 3rd because we were hoping that Mahomes would fall to us, and he did, and which was awesome. Receivers went off the board kind of right after that, so we had to kind of force T. Higgins in there, hoping for a double. And then Hollywood Brown fell to us. That was awesome. Got a double there. And then we were hoping to get another double. Got sniped, but had to go another direction. We needed receiver depth anyway, so we went Watson. Brown, obviously, one of the highest risers. He actually didn't go as high as I expected, especially both drafts we did tonight. Moss went over Brown, which I haven't seen since the rumors and news have come out about him. Brian Thomas fell to us, wide receiver 5, whatever. We got a lot of rookie receivers in this one.
Yep.
Tajay Spears, Trey Benson, Jahan Dotson, and then we got a handcuff or stack, whatever you want to call it, the Chargers running back room. Either way, we got one of them. Isaiah Likely, we had to take as our tight end 2. That's uncomfortable for most because he is a backup on his own team, but we have Travis Kelce. It should not matter too much. Finishing it up, we went Bryce Young as our QB2, unstacked, kind of nervous, but we did stack our QB3 with Troy Franklin. Kendre Miller fell in the 17th, we kind of took him at his ADP now, but look at all the guys that we typically target that did not fall to us. Roshan and Braylon Allen, Aldrich Estime. So had to go bite the bullet there. And then Malachi Corley, don't have a ton of him, but he has been in the 16, 17 round. He fell us in the 20th round. And so that was awesome there.
And then, hold on, sorry, getting there. Brandon goes to Monroe, Lave. Those 2 guys are, going to be his staples. Then he gets Travis Etienne, rising, love him exactly. Amari Cooper, who is a guy we like in this range, especially with the guys that went right after him. That's the guy we would have picked probably if we went wide receiver there. Mark Andrews, a 5th round tight end. That's the way to go. James Conner. We don't love James Conner as a player, but volume is king, and he's had it. Joe Burrow. Boo. Ladd McConkey, another receiver that Brandon can hopefully get late in the year to work out for him. Another rookie in Brock Bowers, who we love. We've had so much of. Jerome Ford, good value and good floor at the beginning of the year. Zeke, a guy we have a ton of, so like that pick. Aaron Rodgers was a little bit of a head scratcher because Deshaun was there, but that's okay. And then Michael Wilson, Justin Fields. That was a little bit of a snipe because we had talked about it, but we think that was the perfect pick.
That was a perfect pick.
Perfect pick. Demario Douglas, a guy that we really like. Tolbert, we really like. Jawan Johnson, he's just a guy that I'm not sure what to do with. So if you have a feel, that's fine. It's just not really my guy that I want to go with right now. Justice Hill, the receiving back in Buffalo. Roman Wilson had injury, so he's fallen. So that's
got it stacked up.
Yeah, and stacked, right? And then Josh Reynolds, a guy that in Denver we don't know.
Go up to like the middle, like the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th rounds. Trying to find where Jared Goff went. He went in the 10th round. So really, 9th is kind of early. And in hindsight, I'm trying to think of how, maybe kind of correlate your build a little better. And this has nothing to do with the, sniping us with Joe Burrow. But at the end of the day, you didn't get any Cincinnati players with your QB1. So essentially, in hindsight, and you can't ever predict like in going Chase over Amon-Ra, that does sound better. But if you wanted Amon-Ra, the aim is to go for Goff. But again, he went the 10-10, so is what it is. My main thing also is that instead of going Zeke, I definitely would have went Trey Benson since you went with James Conner. I think Trey Benson is my favorite handcuff by far right now. And getting him in that good offense, we have a ton of Trey Benson. And then also James Conner. He's had injury history, missing 3 to 4 games a year, and also is getting up there in age. And I think this is finally the year that his workload diminishes as the season goes on instead of being extended.
Right.
That is my prediction. I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. But I think he would have probably served your backfield better than Zeke. But otherwise, I liked the 5 running back build that you did. I like how it turned out. And also, I don't, in addition to Javon Johnson not being our guy, I don't think it's necessary when you go hours
Right. To
to need a
get
third. I
another
don't
one.
think you need a third tight end unless it's Isaiah Likely, like we mentioned, because I would take him every time that I take Andrews. But going forward, if you were targeting Mark Andrews, Trey McBride, Dalton Kincaid, go with Brock Bowers, I think you're perfectly fine doing a 2 tight end build, and that just gives you another way to go for a 6th running back or even a 10th receiver, because I know you hit a lot of good value picks later at that position.
Right. The only thing, like Cam said, is I would have gotten some more running backs just because you did start off the draft without a true anchor. I know that your hero
I
is
think
Travis Etienne, but it's
to
still
push back
too
a little
late.
bit, I still think it's a fine. It's for those that do 5 running back builds. I think he did well enough with his 5 that he took.
I don't think I hate the running backs. I think they have good floors. I just
Mhm.
there's not as much upside, and you don't have someone that you're like 20 touch upside all the time.
Either way, but
That's my only thing.
nice job, Brandon. Definitely a good build. Like I said, a couple of tweaks that we would do differently, but that doesn't mean that we are correct on that. Just thought we would correlate a little better if we were in your shoes. But
Right.
that is all she wrote for today, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in that are still here. Can't thank you enough. We'll be doing this every single week the rest of the off season. We will see y'all next Wednesday. But until then, we got a ton of content coming out. We have a video coming out tomorrow. Just released one yesterday. Have a couple to shoot this weekend. We're busy. Please keep on supporting us like you are.
Yeah, we put about 4 videos out for the next few weeks. So it'll
4
be
per week.
per week. Yeah. So it'll be a lot. So if you get a chance to watch them, go ahead, and we're going to, of course, do this. So if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask us in here. And otherwise, we really appreciate it.
Yeah. See you on the next one.